the order. All right, you hear that? I have a new sign on because we're a club, and that's how clubs start their meetings. But what's up, clubbers? We got a good one today. The usual cohorts are here. What's up, Bjorn?
What's up,
Randy?
Yeah.
Hey, all right. So the gang's all here, and we have a guest today. Is this our first second appearance?
Second. Yes.
No, it's our first time having a person on set for a second time.
Killing it with
a repeat. We have a repeat guest. And it makes total sense because it is my brother, Troy.
Hey, I'm glad to be back.
Yeah. And we are doing today, the movie we're doing is, the best way to describe it is when I was trying to think up the premise of this podcast, this movie was kind of what I was trying to build it around. This is like a quintessential Saturday afternooner from our lives when we were kids. Like, this movie came out when Troy was 11 and I was 13, so we probably saw it a few months later. Definitely didn't see it in the theater, but we did. I mean, we probably watched it 10 times. Like, we had it, I think we recorded it off television. And
yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, we had a VHS tape with this on it. And
it's definitely one of those movies that had a bunch of references to stuff that I didn't get until later.
Oh yeah. I mean, the 30-year break, not seeing it, I actually enjoyed this movie in a much different way. And just as much as I did when I was a kid. But now I get it a little bit. You know,
yeah.
If you take 2 years, if you watch The Naked Gun every 2 years, more jokes are going to land if you just keep watching movies in between. And that's kind of how this one is like, because this movie is called If Looks Could Kill. It is a Bond spoof, but not in a Naked Gun type way, more in a Hot Fuzz type way, where they make a Bond movie, but that kind of takes the piss out of Bond movies, right? It's not an all-timer like Hot Fuzz. It's definitely not at that level, but this is the kind of movie, if Edgar Wright was going to make a James Bond type spoof type movie, it would be this.
Absolutely.
Like an actual movie.
Yeah.
It's not gag, it's not gag. There's gags, but it's not gag centric. That's the phrase I'm trying to.
It's not like silly.
No,
but
I mean,
I still kind of felt like
there were silly ass parts.
It is silly, but it's not. It's not Airplane. It's not Naked Gun.
It's not a parody.
No, it is more of a Hot Fuzz type where they make a Bond movie that takes the piss out of Bond movies.
Yeah.
You got anything to add, Troy? What do you think of? Do you remember?
I never. Yeah, I remember seeing it. I never put that Edgar Wright connection. That never. I think that's a good point you're making.
Yeah.
It really, it's not so much a parody. It's more like an homage to that, but for a younger generation, and a lot of fun. Cool spy stuff. I'm not a huge fan of the Bond franchise, so this is kind of it for me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen a lot of Bond movies, so.
No,
but if Looks Could Kill, that's my spy movie.
Your reaction to him saying he wasn't into the Bond franchise makes me think that you have some fucking words.
I feel like no. I just feel like it should be known that James Bond was kind of a father figure for me growing up.
Okay.
Really?
Sort of, in a weird way. I was obsessed with Bond movies.
Yeah, but that's bad. James Bond is a bad father
horrible.
figure.
Yeah.
Horrible. That's why it's
right. I kind of I take all my I take all my relationship advice cues from OJ.
Yeah.
Right. I just think he's made some mistakes, but overall he's a pretty good husband. Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
Good actor.
Right. I saw the first James Bond movie, and that's the only one with Sean Connery I've ever seen. I had seen no James Bond movies when we saw this movie.
Okay.
And I've seen Timothy Dalton to the present.
Okay.
That's it. There was almost no escaping GoldenEye. We had to watch GoldenEye.
You had to watch Goldeneye.
It was
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was huge when we were in high school.
That
Plus
was
the game.
That was my entry point into Bond movies.
Same.
And I watched it at a stereo store. While my parents were buying a stereo, I went to the surround sound room and watched the entirety of that movie because I was not allowed to watch those types of movies. And it became my favorite movie.
And
I
how
get
long
that.
did they have to come back to the store to get you, or did
Well,
it
I don't
take that
know.
long to buy a thing?
It took that long to buy a thing. Like, I don't know. You remember the stereos you had to get with like the record player and the tape?
Oh, the
deck
big
and the
stacks.
thing, and then like
Yeah,
all
it's a
the
big
speakers.
purchase.
Yeah, it's a big purchase. You got to go through all the options, and apparently the runtime of that movie.
Well,
It's
they hadn't figured out, they hadn't just turned movies into 2.5 hour things yet. Like
No.
GoldenEye is probably 2 hours.
Yeah, probably
maybe
2
a little
hours.
less. It is fun when you play the GoldenEye game and then watch the movie, like to realize that it literally is just in the same order as the
Yep.
movie.
Mhm.
It's just all the stuff from the movie. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about if looks could kill. Do you have touchstones from this movie, Troy? Do you know what we're talking about? Like when you watch it,
Oh yeah,
who,
for sure. It's Baccarat. Like that lived in my head after seeing this movie as a kid. Like, what's that game they're playing?
yeah, the game.
Because I'd never seen a Bond movie, but yeah, there's that scene in the casino, and it that was my first introduction to that, and was a little bit fascinated with everything that was going on in that scene.
Yeah. That was. I didn't even realize it was Baccarat.
Dude, there was Baccarat, and then a secret game of canasta.
Yeah, Secret Canasta. That was more implied. We still don't know what that is, but that was the Bond girl's name in this movie. Areola Canasta.
Mhm.
It's my favorite fucking name.
Right. I feel like Austin Powers Mike Myers should have seen this movie before he met Austin Powers.
I'm almost 100%
Right.
sure he did. There's a very specific moment in the casino that is like directly in Austin Powers.
All right, we'll
Get there.
yeah, save it for when we get to that
Yeah.
part. But my touchstones for this movie are, of course, Richard Greico. Whenever I see Richard Greico
Yeah.
in anything, he's the guy from this movie. And also Linda Hunt, the Frau Barbissina character of this movie, the
tiny lady.
the sidekick lady, right? She's
Yeah.
the principal in Kindergarten Cop, so that should be my touchstone for her, but it isn't. I think I saw this before Kindergarten Cop. We weren't that year that Kindergarten Cop and Home Alone were just in the theaters for like a year, but I don't think we were allowed to watch Kindergarten Cop because of Schwarzenegger's everything he had done up until then. I don't think they believed that this was going to be an actual movie that children could watch.
Yeah. We caught that on TV sometime, I think.
Yeah. So
But
Linda Hunt with the whip necklace, she's from
So
this.
good.
And then I guess if I ever saw anybody else, of course, Augustus Steranko is not. This is not my touchstone for that guy. That guy is
No.
played by Roger Reese,
Roger Reese.
who is Robin Colcord on Cheers. And that's why I just got tongue-tied trying to come up with his name, because as I almost said Roger Reese, it's so close to Robin that I couldn't remember which one was for a split second. But he was Robin Colcord on Cheers. We had already seen him on Cheers for a couple years. Like his Cheers stuff had already been happening. So suddenly this guy from Cheers is in this. And he was a great, like, he legit could be the Bond villain, like an actual Bond villain. Like the way that he carried himself and his like gravitas.
Yeah.
In those scenes, if Edgar Wright was going to make one of these, he should be in it. He could, if he wasn't so, because the Timothy Dalton in Hot Fuzz was like, he specifically wanted a Bond for that. But if he didn't, then like he could have done that. Like he could have been that role. Because he does have that like aristocratic menace that Bond villains always have.
Yeah.
Very much.
And I love of Scorpions, which have to be imported to Europe, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
I mean, we don't even have them here.
No.
They just got to go. This guy, Augustus Duranko, just a big fan of Australian bug life. Or not Australian, Arizona bug life.
Arizona.
Oops.
Yeah, he
Maybe
goes to
Australia.
Arizona once a year.
Right, just to get more scorpions. He says to the fucking metal hand guy, go pick up my bugs. Well, this movie came out.
I got a couple touchdowns.
Yeah?
So Richard Greico, my touchdown for him is definitely A Night at the Roxbury.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because I loved that movie and I watched it all the time, and then I like looked him up after that.
Wow.
And then the other one, this is a kind of a weird one. Gabriella Anwar,
Yeah.
Burn Notice.
Yeah.
Like,
Is she
I was
the French teacher?
obsessed with
No,
that.
no, she's the
love interest.
she's the
okay.
other the person he teams up with.
But
Mine
she's also the love interest of Michael from Burn Notice. She's like the main character and says Michael a lot.
that's true, right? That never even occurred to me.
I was like, oh shit, it's the same name character too.
This should be my touchstone for her, but she was in a movie right after this that I watched a lot. Do you know what I'm talking about? What's your touchstone for her, Troy? Do you have one for Gabrielle Anwar?
Three Musketeers?
Yeah, the Three Musketeers. She was in the Three
Yeah,
Musketeers.
she was in that.
And that movie, I love that movie. The Charlie Sheen, Kiefer Sutherland, Oliver Platt. I mean, in spite of Chris O'Donnell. I mean, imagine how much more I would like that movie if they had someone real, like a legit, instead of a placeholder replacement player. I mean, Chris O'Donnell is replacement level.
Yeah.
He's not gonna make it work.
He sure is.
He's not gonna make. He's gonna just do the thing.
He'll do exactly what he needs to do in a movie.
Yeah, but not
well.
Not always what the movie needs or
No.
what
Yeah.
I would need.
You'll forget
Especially
about it as soon as it's done. But
I mean, especially a movie like that with like the Three Musketeers, like those three guys have such, because Oliver Platt is also Touchstone from Three Musketeers. And when you have like those three characters they have like their own outsized personality, to then throw in a D'Artagnan with no personality is a bummer. But Gabrielle Anwar is from Three Musketeers. This is Richard Grieco's first. This is his theatrical film debut. He was from 21 Jump Street. That was his thing.
And a singing career.
Before this?
I don't know if I couldn't figure out the order.
career?
Career album. It's terrible. I did listen to
Album?
it
All right.
today. I was like, oh, this is awful.
Attempt. You mean attempt. He made a stab at, I mean, so did the lawyer from My Cousin Vinny. He also
feels
made
like he had just too much money too early.
He got super
paid for studio time, pushed it out.
That seemed to happen a lot back then. This movie came out March 15th, 1991. It debuted at number 11, which is pretty good. It did not make. It was not a hit. It did not make a lot of money. I think it made it made about $8 million total. But March 15, 1991, the number one movie that weekend was Silence of the Lambs.
Ooh, hard to beat that one.
Yeah, hard to beat. And it was not even, it had been out for a little bit too. Then New Jack City, Sleeping with the Enemy, Class Action, The Hard Way, The Perfect Weapon, The Doors.
A lot of these could be alternate titles of this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that the Oliver Stone?
The Doors, yeah.
Okay.
Dances with Wolves, Home Alone, Guilty by Suspicion, If Looks Could Kill, and then I put in the number 12 one just to mention it, because we're gonna do it at some point. Number 12 that week was King Ralph.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, the one with John Goodman?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen
that's
exactly
interesting.
3 of these movies.
Right. That makes sense.
Silence of the Lambs, Home Alone, and what else?
Oh, did you say Home Alone? I didn't catch
Yeah,
Home
Home
Alone. The Doors. So
The
4.
Doors.
I have not seen The Doors. I hate The Doors.
It's fine.
Roger Ebert gave this movie. Here, I'm gonna go in reverse order. Right. Rotten Tomatoes, critics 29%, user 50.
That's way
Both
low.
of these are wrong.
Yep.
IMDb 5.8. This is off by at least a whole point. This should be 6.8.
That is off by
or higher.
4.2 points.
Yeah, it should be. This movie's a 10, if you ask me. And then coming through, Roger Ebert gave this movie 3 stars.
What?
3 whole out of 4. 3 out of 4 stars. This is a good rating from Roger Ebert.
Yeah.
He's not going to tell you it's the best movie he's ever seen, but 3 stars from Ebert means it's good and he liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And he should. So this movie stars Richard Greico, Linda Hunt, Roger Reese, Robin Bartlett plays the French teacher. And I guess, if I ever saw something else that she was in, I would, and knew it, she would be from this. Gabrielle Anwar. And then, nobody else you heard of, Oliver Deere played Kent, the goofy Greico best friend character.
Goofy turned Greek.
Oh.
And the only reason I bring him up is his father is William Deere, the director.
Okay.
Right? He also made Harry and the Hendersons.
Little nepotiz.
Right? This movie was the story. So story by means he wrote it and then somebody else rewrote the whole thing. So the story was written by Fred Decker, who was Shane Black's writing partner. They did Monster Squad together.
Oh.
And then Fred Decker went on to he did Night of the Creeps. I can't even read
And
my writing.
others.
Never mind. Turns out I wrote Night of the Creeps and Monster Squad, but I already said Monster Squad, so I fucked up my list. I thought I was about to look down and have 2 titles to say, so I started that sentence like that. And then the guy who gets the screenwrite, like the actual writing credit, is named Darren Star, who created Sex in the City and Emily in Paris.
Fucking what?
Wow.
Oh, I was like, why do you recognize that name? That's why.
Out of nowhere.
Big Sex in the City fan?
No, I'm reading this book that he recommended, and they mentioned him
Oh, okay.
in it. The Cocoa Puffs drugs.
Yeah, Sex, Drugs, and Cocoa Puffs.
Good old Klosterman.
Yeah.
Right. Fred Decker wrote this movie for Anthony Michael Hall. The studio insisted on Richard Greico.
Good.
Good choice.
Very rare thing
what?
where the studio makes a very good call.
Yeah, even though I think it I don't want to do recast or anything for this because
No.
we'll get to it later if you have it, but I don't because I think everybody nails it. The movie would have been a bigger hit with Anthony Michael Hall. I think the biggest hit version of this movie would have been Christian Slater. Because it's not too, so March of 91 means they filmed it in 1990 and he had just been a high school senior in Heathers the year before. So it's not a stretch
Yeah.
age-wise. He's probably younger than Greico. Like, Greico is like 26 in this movie. So I think Slater's probably be like...
Yeah, it'd be fun to see him do his Jack Nicholson impression for this film.
Yeah.
I mean, it just would have been... He was a much bigger star. So I think more people would have seen it. And we probably could have got 4 of them with Christian Slater.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I don't
Yeah.
I don't think that makes the movie better.
No.
But would I rather watch 4? Would I rather have 4 and no Greico in this? That's the gambit. But since it worked out this way, I'm just happy the way it worked out because it's not like Greico's good in it.
Mm-hmm. He's great.
It's like he should be able to show it in court and sue the industry. I should be a movie star. Look what I did. You're like, yeah, you fucking did. That's some movie star shit. He carried that movie.
He did.
Absolutely
I was looking
did.
at I was like, how did he not do anything but like himself later?
Well, he went right back to TV.
Oh, okay.
They did a 21 Jump Street spinoff where his character had his own show for a while called Booker.
Oh, and then he played Booker.
That was
in the new
after the movie?
Or it was concurrent or whatever. Like it might have just been happening at the same time, but he really didn't. He really just stayed a TV star for a while. And
He could have been a movie star. He knocked this one out of the park.
He really did.
He should have been.
Yeah, you got to wonder how is he not a Young Guns 2?
Yeah.
Shouldn't he be in Young Guns 2 or something
Was
like
he
that?
in
Like,
the what? Not the Rat Pack, the Brat Pack. What is it called?
no, they were like that was all movie stuff. So he was on TV at the time, so he's not in for the same reason like Johnny Depp's not in it, because literally the same reason, because they were just both on 21 Jump Street.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they don't count those like it's the Brat Pack and then the oldest kid from Alf. Like, yeah, look. The only other piece of trivia that's fun at all is Gabrielle Anwar's name is Mariska, because Fred Decker named her after his college friend Mariska Hargitay. The only other, the other person with that name.
She's still Fiona to me.
Yeah. Benson, Mariska Hargitay's been on TV forever. She probably could have been a movie star. I don't know. I've never seen her in a movie. And this movie predicted some stuff. Their spy spoofy gadget shit. Some of it came back in actual spy movie stuff. Mm-hmm. One of the things they use as an example is the X-ray specs, and it's like that. I mean, that's not really. You can't credit this movie. You should credit like a cereal box from the 50s or whatever came up with X-ray specs. But
are we in that part of it? Because there was.
We haven't started the recap, but yeah, we could do whatever. There's no rules to this, Randy.
That's
what do you
fair.
want to do?
That fucking the device that they cut to where the dude picks up the phone and the desk swings over and smashes the mannequin.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
It's the funniest fucking thing I might have ever seen.
Right, I love that. Like half of that scene, the gadget, the armory gearing up scene, like half of the stuff you see in the background is like actual spy, like war machine shit, and the other half of the stuff is like they're making stuff for Mr. Burns' office. Right, that desk thing is totally a Mr. Burns thing.
It's
It's
so
not
good.
Yeah.
But how hard would you laugh if fucking Pierce Brosnan in a tux gets smacked in the forehead because a desk popped up at the end of fucking The World Is Not Enough or whatever? Jonathan Pryce, they're having their big standoff, and Jonathan Pryce is like, I have to take this smash right in the fucking... It would be so fun. Everybody jump in. This movie is just one thing to the next. It's very linear.
Are you also saying the gum was a thing from...
Yeah, the gum was a Mission
1?
Impossible, the first one.
But they did it better in this, I thought. I like the gum as you chew it for a little while, and then you mix it with the wrapper to make it explode.
Yeah, I did
as
like
opposed
that.
to you just like fold the two parts of it together, which was from... I don't know why I always thought that was dumb as a kid.
Well, I haven't seen that, so elaborate on that a little bit.
You haven't seen the first Mission Impossible movie?
Oh, I have. It's been a very long time. I think I fell asleep.
You fold the gum in half, and then you have like a few seconds, and then it explodes.
That's why, because you have no control. You have no control over it like that. Like once you touch them,
it could bend in your pocket. You could leave it in your jeans and wash them. And
you have to chew it and then wrap it and then throw it. Like there's a lot. Yeah. Anyway,
it's just. I mean. We're saying the same thing. It's just a grenade.
It's a
basically.
grenade.
Yeah. It's you have 10 seconds once you smash it together, and it's a grenade. But
I loved the use of it too. The way they did it.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was super fun.
Right. And I think the reason why this works better is because the payoff is better.
Yeah.
And that payoff only works if it has to be done this way.
Yeah, that's true.
With the gum and the wrapper. The reason why I'm furious at you right now for your Mission Impossible take. The viewers at home can look at my face and they can just see how irate I am, because the Mission Impossible one is where Emilio he goes, "Hasta lasagna." It's red light, green light. "Hasta lasagna." Don't get any on you. That's the best line in any movie. And he's talking about that gun when he's showing Tom Cruise how to use it.
Okay.
"Hasta lasagna, don't get any on you." Like, oh, this guy's fun. Red light, green light. I just love that scene to the point where, like the actual usage of it, I never even thought about it. I never once considered, because it's a thing that they go,
yeah.
this is what it's that you do this and then that. And you're like, okay, I'll see it happen. And then when he did it in the movie, it was so dope that
Oh, it was
I didn't
sick.
care. I never once thought about that it could fold up in your pocket. Holy shit!
That's all I thought about. But yeah, Randy,
There's no
he folds
safety
it in
on
half
that gun.
and throws it against a giant tank of water, and it explodes
As a diversion to get away is great.
Yep.
Yeah.
at a restaurant.
Wonderful.
Right, but right before he does it, he goes red light, green light, smash. It's great. It's a callback to earlier. You know what? You understand callback.
I am familiar. Dick.
No, I'm not.
No, I'm kidding.
No, I know. I'm just. We'll leave that in. I don't want to edit. I don't want to edit. We're gonna leave in the part where people go. I guess. Maybe Randy's also a little reactionary. It's not just Geoff. So when we found this movie on Amazon, I couldn't believe it. It's real hard to find. I guess I never looked for a DVD since I haven't had a DVD player in 15 years or whatever. But same with Gleaming the Cube.
Yeah.
That was available, but every time I find that on DVD, it was always like Region 2 or whatever. And
Oh yeah.
I just don't know what that means. I can't imagine that.
Means European.
Yeah. Okay. So I just figured
Also,
it
then it'd
meant.
be in PAL, so you wouldn't be able to play it
Yeah. It's
unless you put it in a computer.
patents.
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 It's not NTSC. Okay, I'll stop. It's just the U.S. format.
Right, but I was like, so we started this podcast, and this movie wasn't available to stream.
Yep.
And I was like an underlying bummer of not being able to do the movie I thought of when I thought of this podcast premise.
I almost remember you bringing this up when you were pitching it to us.
Yeah.
And saying, I wish we could do If Looks Could Kill, but it's not anywhere.
Right, it's the perfect. It's exactly. It was this. It was Men at Work. It was. That's why Troy's back. Because we watch this movie a lot. Every time I think of this movie, I think of Troy. Like this was a thing that we knew about, and nobody else we knew really knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
And
It seemed it was always kind of underground.
yeah, it made $8 million. Nobody fucking saw this. We didn't even see it. They could have got another $16 if we had been allowed to go see movies.
I couldn't believe I had seen it, but I couldn't believe I wasn't a fan of it because one of the characters is the same name as my sister, spelled the same in the subtitles, Ilsa.
I don't know. Have you ever seen Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Did
She's
you
in that
just not
too.
know that Ilsa?
Her name's in that one.
Ilsa?
Not a lot of Bjorns though.
Not a ton.
There's
No.
like one in the Lord of the Rings, but was cut.
Yeah.
It's like a B story character.
Right.
In the
'Cause
Hobbit.
they were sitting around set. I heard they were sitting around set, and somebody goes, "Is this J.R.R. Tolkien?" Obviously, he's into the hard J, not soft J's. We have to this is a hard J story. You take that shit to Mjolnir, not Sauron. What's the name of the Sauron?
Sauron.
Sauron. I'm a big LTR head.
I've seen
You
it
guys
twice,
know.
dude.
You've seen it twice?
Yep, that's it.
Paul watched the entire extended cut while we recorded like 2.5 or 1.5 podcasts. And I made it home and he still had 45 minutes left in the movie.
For John's birthday, we watched all 3 extended editions
I'm
in a
sorry.
row.
I'm so sorry.
I like them.
Right. This is why people do birthday week now, because sometimes they want to watch 3 Lord of the Rings movies, and so it has to be a whole birthday week. It can't be one day. Nobody could do that in one day. That's crazy.
No.
What is this?
No,
the
he
Harry
just watched-
Knowles button-umathon?
He only watched one of them.
Yeah, it's
He
4
only
hours.
watched the last one.
Yeah.
And it wasn't over when I got home.
That's wild. I've seen them all once, or maybe I saw one 3 times. I can't tell, but I've definitely seen 3 Lord of the Rings movies. Or 3 or 1 movie 3 times. What's the difference? The Hobbits have
You can't
dragons.
finish them in an afternoon, so they're not for this show. It takes more than an afternoon to get through
That takes a
any
day.
of them.
It takes a full day.
So,
Yeah. We will not be doing
Please
this.
no.
We might do
You guys hate Lord
If
of the
we
Rings.
do more of this, I was watching this, I was like, hell yeah. Like,
Yeah.
if this is what the podcast is, I love it.
This is what the podcast
the whole time. I was like, yes,
so
into this.
John and I watched the trailer for this the night before I watched it because I just wanted to see what it was about. And the trailer on Amazon is just the kitchen talk through the snowmobile crash in the beginning. That's the Amazon trailer.
Oh man, so it's just a scene.
It's
just
2 scenes back to back, right? And then I watched it and I got to where you see Roger Daltrey's face.
Yeah.
And was like, I have to stop, and John has to watch this with me, and I'm not taking no for an answer. And then like sat him down and was like, oh, this might be my favorite movie now. It's
Hell yeah.
So fantastic.
I mean, I was thinking about this earlier today. I can't guarantee this, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was moments in my life where I would have said this was my favorite movie. We really liked it. And now it's time, I guess, to talk about Roger Daltrey being in this movie. And but he's in it for not long.
Maybe a total of 45 seconds.
Part of a scene. That's all you can really call it.
Yeah.
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 Right? The whole first half of his role is probably not even him. It's just a double.
Yeah, it's not. For sure.
The back of his head.
Yeah, He's all wrapped up in a ski mask and shit. He's a spy. He plays a super spy called Blade. We see his face. He has a couple lines, and then he dies. And shockingly, there is no Roger Daltrey on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense to me. There's no reason to put him in this movie unless he's got a song too.
Or Richard Greico.
Or Greico.
He was the whole time like, "Hey, you guys, I'm your guy if you need someone for that soundtrack.
All right.
I'll wear some sexy underwear."
It is between
in
this
the opening,
movie,
swim around
this
or
movie
something.
and Rad. If you want to make if they use AI to make songs for 80s movies, I'm into it because that's the only application for AI music I'm into because these songs and the songs on Rad feel like AI 80s movie songs. Like Teach Me How to Dream. One of the songs of this movie, the chorus is "Teach me how to dream." That's just so. It's like an 8th grader. How it's fucking nonsense.
Actually, a song by The Who that would be like "Only If Looks Could Kill." Like, right there.
I mean, just
it didn't have a Bond song in it.
No,
like that would have been fun if Daltrey did a song. If Looks Could Kill, but what it did have was that opening scene at his graduation when we first meet Michael.
Yeah,
he's got his headphones on, and that song he's listening to, loud guitars, fast cars, wild wild living, is the title of that song. It's not even just the chorus.
Yeah, it's
a song called Contraband.
Like rock and roll, like what rock and roll. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. It's like worse than a Kiss song.
It's like AI. It's like how they have AI for this movie in 1991.
Like an AI generated song. Holy shit!
Right, he's late to his graduation. He's got his headphones on. Fortunately for him and us as the audience, when schools do this, the graduates sit alphabetically, so they get the diploma to the right person. We did that at our school. My graduation, we sat alphabetically, and then but they didn't do the diplomas correctly. So they were like, before we went out, they were like, "We're just gonna give you a diploma, and then after the ceremony, find the person, give them,
swab them up."
Name, yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
Secret Santa these diplomas.
Yeah.
We got white elephant graduation.
I got a fake thing. It was just like a diploma holder.
Oh,
but
sure.
There was nothing in it, and then they like mailed you your diploma.
Right, they should have done that. There was 24 of us, and we had a slideshow of pictures. So it was a couple of minutes for each person. So it was supposed to, make it 2 minutes, whatever. Your parents get pictures. They couldn't get that shit to run. So they did the thing where we all walked and got our diplomas. And then when that was done, somebody was like, "Oh, we fixed it." So then they just played the slideshow. It was absurd. I went to a real school.
What song played?
I don't know.
There wasn't. Oh, okay. There wasn't like a graduation song.
I went to a Christian school, man. It was probably
Oh.
"Watch the Lamb" by Ray Bolt.
Friends are friends forever.
Friends are friends. Yeah, that right. If the Lord's the Lord of them, come on, we all know that song. They would sing that at Easter.
I did love in this graduation scene that they hand him his diploma along with something inside that said, haha, just kidding.
I know, this seems
you
like
wouldn't get to walk.
Yeah.
You wouldn't walk. You just
he
wouldn't
should have
walk.
known
Yeah.
ahead of time. He can't be surprised by it. This is all nonsense. They wouldn't have let him walk.
Nope.
But it does
But see,
speed things up.
this movie, they just ask you to suspend a little bit of disbelief.
Just a little
Nothing
bit.
too crazy happens. Like, I mean, there's a few times they call on you to do it, but but that's the whole premise. Like,
because I watched it 2 times this week, and the second time I watched it, that part with the you actually didn't graduate, I started thinking about it as if this was a story that he was telling us. So he's just speeding it up. He's like, so I'm graduating, but I can't graduate. I have this. I didn't complete my French thing. So we're just watching like a acted out version of a truncated, like the guy, he's just speeding it up. Like otherwise, if they do this all in a row, then there's no graduate. We never see the graduation scene. And there's like 2 or 3, it would take 6 minutes to do what they pulled off in 1. And
it's good movie making.
Time. Yeah.
We meet a few characters. It's way more interesting than watching them have a meeting with the principal or whatever they'd have to do instead. So
Yeah.
And then we just get a cut to the kitchen table where the parents are acting. This is another part that makes me think it's a retelling, because the parents are acting mad, but they don't seem mad at all.
Mm-hmm.
They're still like, they're just like, I guess we'll just. It's obvious he's going to France. That's the only way he can get enough credit to graduate, is to go on the French club trip. And they're, the dad's like, how dare you, whatever. But there's nothing about his performance other than the words that seem mad.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing about the mom that seems disappointed. Like, they're just like being parents in a reenactment of what happened, kind of.
Right.
The little brother looked familiar. Who was that?
I never looked.
I don't know. It looked like someone that became somebody, and I'm just remembering
Frankie
that.
Muniz.
Yeah, it was Frankie Muniz. He was like filming it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. The kid looked familiar. My bad. I thought you would know. Can we delete that from the...
No, we're leaving it in.
podcast?
We're leaving all this in. I'm
Sam.
tired of everybody thinking I'm the reactionary dumb one. We're gonna spread this out. You say some dumb. You say some reactionary. Now,
Next time, Bjorn, think before you fucking speak.
All right.
How's that?
Thank you. Perfect. There's that anger we're looking for.
finally, right?
Words matching the action.
I took a class on content creation, and they said they need strife. We need strife.
You can't just agree the whole time.
Right? So fuck you both, guys. You fucking dicks. Right, then it cuts to somewhere in Europe. They won't even tell us.
Yeah.
Somewhere in Europe.
It's France.
they're real vague about it.
Yeah, it's France.
They're in a fucking chateau. It's France.
Right, that's the scene. This
They
is
say
where Blake shows up.
Orenburg, though, which that's a city in Russia. So
Oh, they also talk about
It
going
is-
to Strasbourg,
but-
which, surprise, not in France.
yeah, it's very very ambiguous.
Yeah.
Somewhere in Europe.
Right, it definitely feels. It's definitely. They're just like, we're just making a movie. We're not trying to make anybody. Augustus Steranko is clearly British, but they're never. But the British intelligence is involved, but they're never in Britain.
Right.
I never thought
His
how
name
to-
sounds
Oh, go ahead.
like vaguely Russian or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but it's one of those like very late Cold War movies where they're just vague about it, but probably the bad guys are Russian.
Yeah,
Because he meets with everybody else.
they decided to go with vaguely Eastern European villain, but not do anything about his accent.
Because they still want to sell tickets
Right.
in
Right.
Europe.
Right.
Well, it's the premise of this movie gets blowed up in like 5 years real time, because this is essentially just the EU.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the sequel.
Right?
The
It's
formation of the EU.
They're like, he had some good points. Let's
Which, by
just,
the way,
use a couple of them.
There's a scene early on where the EU flag is in the background.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wild.
Well, but they hadn't switched to the money yet. Like,
They didn't switch to the euro yet, but the EU was definitely.
so basically, he's pitching the euro, but his ulterior motive is to just keep it all. But he somehow he convinced every finance minister to bring all their gold to him somewhere in Europe.
Yeah.
Blade is onto it. He gets killed. Their number one henchman, the odd job type for this, the Jaws guy in this, gets his hand fucked up, so now he's got a metal hand. Now we're back in Detroit. There's a whole conversation with the British intelligence and an American guy. We're sending our deep cover operative. The Americans are loaning us. Michael Corbin is his code name. Larrabee, the American case officer or whatever, however you would say it, his code name is Mother. These are not well thought out. Somehow, the British intelligence agency puts their Michael Corbin on the same flight from Detroit to Paris as a different Michael Corbin. They should have known that. And then there's some cross communication at the airport. One Michael Corbin gets paged by Mother, but it's the one we're watching, the high schooler, and his real mom. But the secret agent Michael Corbin takes that call, then gets killed. Linda Hunt somehow made it from somewhere in Europe to the Detroit airport overnight.
Right. With a vacuum cleaner gun combo that she shoots him with.
It burns a hole through him without burning his skin, and then he exhales smoke. It was the best.
Yeah.
That's one of the best.
That was a cool death.
Incredible. And then our Michael Corbin, Greico, he gets the paging Michael Corbin, which is the thing I've thought every time I've been at an airport and I hear them say that, whatever name they say, I think of that from that movie somehow. It just is stuck in my head the whole time. The guy in Bird Notice is named Michael Weston. That sticks in my head as being close enough to Michael Corbin that it still triggers it.
It's there.
We find out also when Greico's get dropped off at the airport, he makes, this is like right in the window of time when maybe you should switch to decaf. Like, was decaf new in the 80s? Is that
right? It was like a punchline a lot of the time or whatever. It seemed like just throw that in there.
It's 80s shows
for a laugh,
right? Like there was these things that would come up because they were new, so they would make fun of like sushi, firm bars, which I never actually saw one in real life. I've never actually seen a firm bar, but they would talk about that on Cheers all the time. And decaf and a bunch of stuff just fell over there, so I forgot what
be like
the other thing I was trying to think of.
Like low tar cigarettes.
No.
Like some like, what's the cigarette, or like Virginia Slims? It'd be like oh, I don't know. I feel like there would be jokes about which cigarettes.
Oh, karaoke. That's the other thing. That was the thing that just came over. So when that would come up in TV shows or whatever, there would always be somebody that was like, the worldly character would be like, oh yeah, and everybody else would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? They were just punchlines because they were new. They just hit the word has hit the zeitgeist, but the act or whatever, nobody really knew what it was. And so I feel like I'm not going to look it up, but there was a whole spate of jokes about decaf. You wound a little tight, switch them to decaf, whatever, all that dumb shit. We find out from the French teacher that Michael Corbin hasn't been to class all year. That's what she says. You didn't come to class all year. So waiting until graduation day to tell him that he's incomplete they could have told him this at Thanksgiving.
Yeah. They could have told him this after his fourth absence.
Yeah. And
is he showing up to all the rest of his classes, just skipping that
That's
one?
what it sounds like.
That's what I was confused about.
He was using French class to fuck.
Is it a long lunch? Just
Yeah, I
take
mean,
him
I
along
don't.
Lunch?
Yeah, we need a prequel. We just need a short film that shows what he
Explaining
would
where he
do.
was. We'll
Skipping
de-age
class.
Greico.
Right, we just find out, like, we're all just joking about it, but it's French was right after lunch and he had IBS.
If grades could kill.
If grades could kill. Somehow he gets, they give him the wrong Michael Corbin's ticket, so he gets to sit in first class. Continues with the confusion. The operatives, they all seem smart, but they also don't know what's going on. The bad guys, I think, spend the rest of the movie thinking the Americans sent 2 Michael Corbins.
Mm-hmm.
This is the beginning of, at this point, the Linda Hunt character, Ilsa, she's dressed as a flight attendant,
She
is
doesn't
on the
even-
plane as a flight attendant.
But she gets put on the plane. They're like, you
Yeah,
need
we
to
have to
get on
go.
this plane. And she
And
was
just like
"Oh."
hustled onto the plane.
Like,
Yeah.
it was
There's
not
not a list
planned.
of who's in the crew. He's just like, you're dressed right. Get on the plane. I've never seen you before,
For
but
like a 20-hour flight. That would just
Yeah.
be the biggest bummer. Like, oh man, I actually have to work this flight.
I mean, that does suck. But she also needed to go back to Europe. So.
She did.
yeah, she got to go back.
But now they're starting to
Everything
think-
she does on the plane is hilarious too.
Yeah.
Just
Dude,
like her delivery.
Food.
Okay,
No.
when-
How would
How
I
would
know?
right?
How would I know?
Food.
I loved shortly after the CIA operative yanks the French teacher away from first class. Ilsa pulls her back into the bathroom and then just slaps the shit out of her.
Yeah.
It's so fucking
Right.
funny.
And this is the moment when the wrongly identified situation expands a little bit, because the French teacher finds out that Michael Corbin's in first class, tries to get to him. He's like, he gets the flight attendant to keep her away. The agent, now they're like, there's somebody after him. His cover's blown. The French teacher's on board. So this is when the French teacher becomes the French teacher, some sort of other agent.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's her code name now.
Yeah,
Which is a great code name.
It really is.
hmm
right. She's scared because that guy scares her. Fucking puts a huge gun in her face, in her
Yeah.
head.
Right. She gets so shaken, she spends the rest of the flight in the lavatory. Like they
Stretching
show her in
and
the
doing
morning
jumping
doing
jacks.
stretches and stuff
Right.
before they land the plane.
Yeah,
She
'cause
was
it's a-
assaulted by the agent and a flight attendant.
Yeah.
I wouldn't leave either.
Yeah.
And it's traumatic, yeah. But nobody on that whole flight tried to use that bathroom, knocked on the door.
Nope.
She just good for her.
There's lots of bathrooms on planes that go international.
Right.
This specific plane is mostly bathrooms. You notice we never
Yeah.
saw Coach? All bathrooms.
Yeah, we don't see that.
It's just toilets.
Yeah. We saw exactly 2 seats in Coach.
Right. The last.
They
the
look
last
pretty
thing-
good too.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to say,
That was no
as he's leaving the plane, he compliments the flight attendant and says, "That was the best Julius Caesar salad I've ever had."
Yes.
Is that what they were called?
Right.
I assume so.
I'm going to guess.
I've
yes.
never seen that. I've never seen a phrase like that ever.
I've also never seen a movie specifically reference a Caesar salad. So,
I feel like if it was ever called a Julius Caesar salad, we would have heard Frasier say it.
right. That's a good bet.
I did love
Maybe it's probably just the first time he had one or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
So
yeah.
That makes sense.
and who knows? Who knows on Air France or whatever? Maybe they do call it Julius Caesar salad. They
Right.
like to
That was the
put a
best.
little flair on it.
It was that the scene was cut. It was the actual line was, "That was the best Julius Caesar salad I've ever had. 1 for 1 on Julius Caesar salads."
the scene where they were like, where I loved that. It was just a quick line where it was like, "Do you want the prime rib or the lobster?" And they like roll up with both of them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right.
To be fair, that's kind of how international first class works.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
haven't
that's not that far off.
flown international first class.
I haven't either. I just sold a lot of it.
Right, but they also get offered lobster in Midnight Run,
Oh, okay.
and that's domestic, but still first class.
Mhm.
But also, That's crazy. Like, it was like a carving table,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
That's
very
that's
large
where it gets a
table.
little.
Two of them.
right? As soon as they deplane, Greico, they see the agent put
Those are Delta wings.
a tag, like a lapel pin, so that the British agent knows. So he gets snatched up right away.
Mm-hmm.
So he's basically, from the moment he gets on the plane, he's basically not with the class at all. Gets off the plane, gets snatched. Now he's with the spies, and they take him to the spy lair. They take him to Chekhov's armory. And this is
Right.
They show him all the stuff. They also get followed
Yep.
to that secret location by 2 different people. So they're not good at being spies,
They're really not.
They're just too excited to see Michael.
right?
Yeah.
Finally get to meet him. That's where he gets the gear. He gets the suit. They put a suit in the car. Scuba gear. Scuba gear was the only thing that never came up.
Never came up.
Yeah.
There's a wetsuit
Oh,
and scuba
right.
gear. In
We
the
had
trunk.
shoes that didn't work for sure.
That would have been in the sequel if they ever got around to it. I bet. But
Those shoes worked
I mean,
enough. They
Enough.
worked. They worked. They
Yeah,
worked
yeah.
better than regular shoes would have. And that's all. That's all
Do you
we're
know-
going for here.
I found just one little bit of trivia from that scene that that they're testing that bomb-proof suit.
yeah.
That made me laugh when they take his helmet off and they're like, "You ready to go again?" And the way he's just like, "Maybe later."
Yeah.
But that guy, the guy in the bomb suit, was William Deere, the director.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He he appeared in the movie too. That's fun.
That's good.
I
That's
love
great.
that.
Because he had like a weird look too. Like he could have been in more movies with that look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The X-ray specs. Troy and I talked about this a couple of days ago. X-ray specs, whenever they're in movies, they only go through clothes. They only
Yeah.
It's like a top layer.
It was
Unless
like, why
it's
wouldn't it
clothes.
look all the way through a person?
Why
it was
wouldn't
clothes.
everything be invisible?
Right?
Close.
It should just be a horizon if they're good.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there was like a Will Smith movie or something where it's the underwear. It didn't go through the underwear. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of a different movie. I don't know. There was some spy movie where they had X-ray specs, but it didn't go through the underwear.
Do you remember that? Because it's disappointing.
No, I just remember that as a kid. Like, why would it stop at the underwear? Why wouldn't it just go through
Maybe it's
to
the thing,
skeleton?
Megan.
That makes a little bit. That is just the top layer.
Is it Enemy of the State? I feel like it's Enemy of the State. I
That
don't
seems
know.
like a movie that would happen.
No,
You
because
can just
nothing,
dial them in.
nothing in enemy,
Yeah.
nothing in Enemy of the State doesn't exist.
Okay.
Okay.
Like that's what says. Like that movie is scary because all of that shit is real. Like however it's used or whatever deployed.
Yeah.
Like the story isn't, but like the
All the tech.
tech. By X-ray specs, I don't think X-ray specs are real.
No.
And if they were, it would just be you would just see. First of all, your eyes would just have radiation poisoning, and
Your
you
whole
see
head would
bones.
explode from
You would just see
radiation
bones.
poisoning.
Yeah. I do love the like placement of things in every single X-ray shot
Mm-hmm.
because it's a PG-13 movie or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Right.
always something, and it's always the women that are naked,
Mhm.
and then that one somewhat. Is it transphobic? It's not.
We'll get to it. It's
Yeah.
that's in the casino part,
Yeah.
which is next. He's trying to explain that he's not the guy they're thinking about until he sees the car they give him, which is a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, whatever, but it's got buttons and rockets and
I think it's a Lotus.
stuff. So he
Lotus.
takes
Yeah,
off
he
with
says Lotus later.
Yeah.
once he finds out he gets to drive that car, he's into pretending to be the spy.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when he also he finds out. They do a real good job banging out exposition there and letting him know what's going on. And so then he's ready to bail. They just think he's too deep undercover though.
Yeah, he's gone native or whatever, however they say that. They do a good job telling us what they think is happening. Because his actual mission is protection. They send him out to protect Steranko because he is the only remaining. They think somebody is killing the finance ministers of every European country, and he is one. So they think he's just next on the list. They don't realize yet that he's involved. We do because we've been watching the movie.
that he gutted a chateau and turned it into a smelting facility.
Yeah. And then just like in every Bond movie, they're like, go protect him. He'll be here tonight. Like they just know, like that happens in Mission Impossible stuff. They skip the part where we just assume that somebody off screen is busy finding out stuff, and then we only have to see the scene where they funnel that info, and that's what we got. They're like, you'll meet him tonight. He gambles. Go to the casino. So then we get the car chase between him and the girl, but Ziggy is chasing him too, the metal hand guy, but they don't even really know he's chasing him, and he foils that guy. Just trying to find what button rolls the windows down.
Which is really relatable. Have you ever had like a rental car and you can't figure out shit? I was like, I get it. You're just hitting switches. And if there were bombs and rockets happening, that would be a problem. Not just like seats heating and other stuff.
I've rented a lot of cars. Volkswagens are the worst for where you think the buttons will be. The buttons are never where you think they'll be. Ford Focus is the best in that wherever you think the buttons are is where they are.
It's where they are.
Where you're like, I bet the radio should be here, and that's where, you don't really have to. You ever walk into someone's kitchen and try to, without being told, and just go, where will the silverware drawer be? And if you the first
try.
like when you pick, you're picking where you would put it.
Yeah.
And if you get it and it's that, you're like, all right, they know what's up.
Nailed it.
Volkswagen seems like they built a car and then forgot what side the steering wheel goes on in America. So everything so they just moved the steering wheel but left all the buttons where they were.
Dude, I stepped into a Fiat. One time I've driven a Fiat and I was just like, it's a car, whatever. And I was in Detroit, which is a weird place to go because there's no left turns. You have to do weird U-turns. You have to go past and loop back. And I turned off the speedometer. I was trying to adjust the radio and I turned off the speedometer, so I had no idea. I was like, why is this a feature? Why would I ever need this? Because it's stupid. I was like, no, this is terrible. I don't know how fast I'm going.
It's like,
what the fuck?
It's like the disabled car switch in the movie.
I'm looking at this right now. Like, that's how this car chase ends. Is he accidentally hits a button that disables the vehicle?
Why is that a feature?
And it blows out his tires.
A single, but then he only has to replace one of them. And he's good to go.
Do you remember? You guys might be too young, but do you remember when Apollo 13 came out? There was this Conan sketch where they were showing a clip, and they were like showing the clip where like we got to mix the tanks or whatever. And then they push, and then you see like the scene like Bill Pax is reaching for a button, and then it just cuts to an obvious other hand, and there's a button that say mix the tanks and a button that say explode the ship. And he hits the wrong button.
Right.
And then it's just Conan being like, why would they even have that button? Why would there be a button on the shuttle? It shouldn't be. You shouldn't be able to do that. From this is when we also get to see the shaving cup on the bus.
Oh yeah.
The director's son.
Oh yeah.
He made his kid do that. Now that I think about it, he made his kid do the gross.
So is he using soda or is it just water? I don't know which is worse. Shaving with soda and shaving cream?
I mean, what's worse is that he drank from the cup.
That's worse.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
The other two things are just also bad. Like, I guess if it was a cup of water, it
would be sticky.
It's at least a little bit like that's how you would shave if you were at home. You would also have a sink, but water and a thing and...
Also, a single blade disposable razor on a French road and on a bus.
Yeah, on the fucking Muppets bus.
Right, and he's somehow sitting next to the class valedictorian who he's trying to impress, and he's still doing this behavior. It's like, why would she even be sitting next to him?
Right.
This is how he ends up getting her, is because he's just this dirtbag the whole time. And
not when he licked her ear while she was sleeping.
No, that's bad, right? There's still some stuff that's bad. He was gonna, and then something happened. There was some more violence. That was in one of the switcheroos on who's driving their bus.
It was a great time for violence to happen.
Yeah,
right. They go to the rest area. Their driver gets bonked on the head. British intelligence takes his place. Now, so now like but the British intelligence still think they're bad. Like they think the French teacher is trying to kill Michael Corbin. So there's still, it just keeps switching off which one of these, the good guys or the bad guys, which one of them always has the French club under control.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of them know who they are. And they both
Right.
want them eliminated to whatever, sidelined, at the very least sidelined. We cut back to German finance. Now we're back at the chateau. German finance minister's onto him. New coins. This guy just gets dragged away. There's no resolution with the French guy. They don't even kill him.
That might be my favorite moment, though, is when the German guy comes into the scene, because they just cut to him, and it's a wide, and he just points up at the guy and shouts his name, and I don't know why, but that was just so fucking funny. I'm gonna edit this out.
No, leave it in.
Leave it in. I don't remember the part. So
He just, like he's talking about him coming, and it just cuts to him, and you just see like a fat guy in a suit going Starenko, and that's it, and it's so funny.
that's awesome.
Right, just enough to be like, yes, he is German.
Yeah,
Right.
Now we're at the casino. Classic James Bond stuff. Casino, they won't let him in because he's not wearing a tux, but there's one in the trunk, so that works out. He throws some money down so Mariska could keep playing Baccarat. Is that
All
what
of
it is?
his money.
Right,
He
all
puts
of his
all the money.
puts all of it.
Yes.
Onto one hand.
half.
Oh,
He does.
yeah, 'cause
he
then
does
he goes
half.
all
He
in eventually.
loses, and then Starenko's like, "Why don't we up the stakes?" And then he puts in the rest. And this is where the Austin Powers moment comes in.
Yeah, he remembers the glasses. So they're playing. I thought it was blackjack, but I guess it's
No, that's what. Yeah,
That's what
he thinks
it
it's
is.
blackjack too. He's like,
Oh.
"Oh, 21. I've played this," and then they're like, "No, so this is baccarat."
oh yeah, where
Uh,
it is 21, but face cards are worthless. Face cards are
Yes,
worth zero.
Still not sure how to play it
he
exactly.
needed an 8. That's all I remember.
Yeah,
Yeah, and fortunately, he was gonna get it. But yeah, this is the part he puts on the X-ray specs. There's a trans lady at the table. It's the second person he sees with the specs. But for a movie that came out in March 1991, it wasn't Ace Ventura. It was just like
Right.
he was surprised because
Yeah, it wasn't total panic. He was like, "Whoa."
yeah. And
he
the
had
thing is,
he had the reaction. He had the reaction that I would have if I said, "Can I have a Dr. Pepper?" and they brought me root beer, and it looks like just looking at it, sort of affect your expectation. I'm expecting Dr. Pepper. I see it. It looks like Dr. Pepper. Then I take a sip. Oh, right. It's surprising and kind of shocking, but it wasn't like
No.
Ace Ventura. It was just like, oh, it was
Right.
like that wasn't what I thought.
It was like in Home Alone when he's like, "Oh, Buzz's girlfriend." Woof.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, the thing to consider there too is when he sees her before the X-ray specs, just complete acceptance that she's a woman. Like it's only validating.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just surprised. It was root beer,
Right?
not
Because
Dr.
then once he has the X-ray specs on, he's like, "Oh, I know who to check out at this table.
Yeah.
Her and then her."
Yeah.
But that's where the Austin Powers nod comes in. When you first meet number 2 in the first Austin Powers, he has the X-ray eye patch, and it pushes into the card deck where he sees the next card. It's almost an identical frame.
Oh,
when
all
they do
right.
that.
Okay.
So I have to imagine that comes from this.
Well, hell yeah. If I ever meet Mike Myers, I know what I'm going to ask him. Well, this table, like most Bond movies, involves most of the players in the movie. Steranko, the villain, his Bond girl. We don't know her name yet, but we will. It's Ariola Canasta.
Such a funny name.
Perfect
That's a very
Bond
James
name.
Bond reference, and that's what made me think that this movie walked so Austin Powers could run. But
Well, yeah, because you have Ariola Canasta and then a lot of vagina.
which is
I mean, that's Ariola Canasta is a better name for a Bond girl than Austin
Octopus.
Powers ever came up
It's a
with.
more.
For sure.
Like,
It's a less spoofy Bond name.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is more of a what this movie is doing to Bond movies. It's not as. It's ridiculous, but you're right. It's not a lot of vagina or whatever. Like that is
Yeah.
They're taking it one step further. Like they're taking it into airplane mode.
Yeah.
Airplane mode.
Airplane mode.
Airplane
right.
mode. That's so funny to call a joke. That.
I like
Sorry.
that.
I like that. Nice
Right.
one.
So they take off. The
That
lady
stays in.
Mariska runs away. Greico chases her. Tries to get stopped by the goons. Turns out his suit. He raises his arms. The tuxedo sprays knockout gas. So he escapes. He knocks out 2 goons and a valet.
Who forgets that he doesn't speak French still?
Yeah.
Which I thought was.
I will say his refusal to speak English until the guy asks him if he speaks English
In
is an
French?
extremely French thing to do.
Yeah, it is. I liked that scene too. That was good.
Right. So all of this once this breaks up at the casino, now he's back in his hotel room, which is dope. He's on the phone trying to get out of the thing. He's yelling at the British intelligence. Ariola's in the room. She got in the room somehow and scares him.
She bribed the bellhop.
Really?
She says that. Yeah, she said, I bribed the bellhop if you don't mind.
I never listened to her.
Security.
No, I guess I just missed that part. Because this scene, when she shows up, this is a phrase that's been in my head for 30 years. Because he tries to speak French and he says boner swoner.
Yeah.
Instead of bone swah, he says boner swoner. It's so goddamn funny.
Super funny.
Right? The class gets in more trouble.
There's another line though that you forgot. He's like, "Why don't you want to be with him? He's your guy." And she's like, "He lost. I like winners."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like winners.
I like winners.
And then she proceeds to just absolutely eat for the rest of that scene when she gets the scorpion down her back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like her physical acting is just hilarious in that scene.
And the ability to do like, because we've seen this scene, like this kind of scene before, where something is happening that's being mistaken for sex noises.
Yeah.
Like her combination of the two, of doing like how you would panic if a scorpion's in your dress, and how someone might think it's a sex noise thing. Like this is like a peak version of that type of comedy. Like she does a good job where it could be both, and every other time you see it, it's just not both. It's just clearly not a sex noise, or clearly not the other.
And do condoms come in
Giant tubes.
cans? They're like
Cans.
in like sardine cans where you need a key to like undo the top that he's like fumbling around in the bathroom with.
John made the suspension of disbelief call that it was the military ops snuck in and put those in there in case he has to fuck a woman, which was evidenced by it saying combat condoms on the side of the tube.
I want to know if you can buy those things.
I think I had 2 ideas about that. One is it's not actually a condom; it's some kind of weapon.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Because we never actually see him get one open. And the other is that's just how, like, if you were in war or whatever, and they gave you these, they would put it in a thing that would last, like something that you could just.
They're like in a bunch of lube, like just like
fucking tuna and oil.
Yeah, they're just in tuna oil, actually.
Oh God.
That's so fucking stupid.
That's so gross.
It's so bad, but it was. This is an interesting era for Bond movies, because we were between Bond movies, and we were between Bonds even. Like the 2 Timothy Daltons were over, and the Brosnan one hadn't happened yet.
Oh.
So to put in this, like, if you're super into James Bond, have you ever clocked that there's no sex in the Timothy Dalton ones?
No, I never clocked that.
There's no Bond girl, like, and it was because of AIDS. They took it out, so that's why those 2 are like noticeably more violent.
Okay.
And a little darker, like, but no sex. And so to put the condoms in this, and still no sex, but it really was just we got to get them into a different room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
because Ziggy's there to kill them both. You know, with a rocket launcher. He punches a hole in the door to shoot a fucking bazooka at him in this hotel and just burns the fuck up out of the lady.
Oh my God, she is gone.
This is how I know we watched it on TV.
Yeah.
I had never seen that before until I watched it this week. Like the actual unedited version, like that part, like that reveal of her fucking dusty bone, like skeleton from getting blown up, like her burned up. That I had never seen it until this time. Do you remember it from when we were kids?
How was that? Was it not? I don't remember. I mean, it didn't surprise me. I didn't notice it as something I hadn't seen previously in the movie, but
I noticed
maybe it's right, or maybe you just repressed it.
No, the first time I watched this movie this week, in that scene before the reveal, I remember, like, I actually thought, well, we don't, like, what happened to her? Where'd she go?
Okay.
And then they show that. I was like, oh, like, because in my head, like, I remember back to this gets blown up and then she's just not there anymore. So that was the part that was taken out.
All right, that makes sense.
Did you clock, by the way, when you were watching this, either of you, how they made all of the subtitles like PG up to the point where they were saying burp instead of fart?
Yeah, I was noticing
and some
that
lines
too.
just didn't have it.
It
like,
was just it was like the subtitles were like clean, and then
There's a
just
crud.
Yeah, they would say like crud
instead of crap.
Yeah, it was like they weren't even like swearing really. It was just like
a
little bit cleaner.
When Greico's on the phone talking to Mother in the airport, sorry to take it all the way back, but when he says if you guys are on speakerphone, tell your sister I said nice tits, and the subtitles say nice hips.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There
was a bunch of them. They were very subtle.
There's one.
Oh, go ahead.
There's one at the end when oh fuck. Oh, when he goes, I will nail your act to the wall.
Oh yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's just why make two? That's
I know
all,
that
like, do you have to make a?
People
you got to
do
make
that. They type them out if they don't exist, and so it goes to the person who's typing them out. I used to know someone that did that as a job.
Yeah. It's a lot of comics had it. It was a lot of the guys I know when they moved to LA got captioning gigs. But you would just have to make that caption track for the movie. And why spend money on two when this one will work?
Yeah.
Either way. So this was just for the. So
that makes sense.
I've seen this has happened on a lot of the movies we've done already, where the subtitles is the TV edit.
Oh, that makes a lot.
I noticed that on Runaway.
Yeah,
it was because they're cleaning up a lot of the dialogue too. They make a lot of it a lot more concise. But this was the first time I noticed that it was like aggressively watered down to like a PG or G rating.
Yeah. Before we move on to the next scene, I do want to say he doesn't know he had a scorpion on him at any point.
Not at any point.
He's completely unaware that the scorpion was
when it's on him
leg.
and he jumps up. I don't know if you caught this, but the scorpion shoots straight up into the ceiling.
Yeah,
not over a little bit, just right up, and it's great. And also, that scene leads me to believe that despite his dad being mad at him for cutting class to fuck women, that he's never fucked a woman before. Because I don't know if you two have ever fucked a woman, but I'm guessing that they don't run around in circles making those noise while you're getting ready.
Yeah.
I mean, not while you're getting ready.
No, you're getting ready.
He just thought she was that into it. She was hot for him, man. But why wouldn't she be?
And to be fair, he also just said dating and partying. That was what the dad kept. That was what the dad kept throwing back.
Sure.
You're adding something there, Rand.
All right.
I was adding it too.
I'll leave it in.
So the hotel's on fire. He runs out. Someone's in his car. Dart gun. Big reveal. It's the girl, Mariska. She got him. So now she finally tells him what's up. So now he knows what's up. The blade was good. Steranko's the one doing all the killing. They have to stop Steranko. He just believes her immediately. We've been watching the movie, so we know she's right.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
He's not a well trained operative.
He's ready to quit before
He
that.
wants to quit. He's
And
trying to quit before the
he
lady
calls
shows up.
MI6. He calls his handlers or whatever. Derek, by the way, I love that British guy's name is Derek.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting character names in this movie, and then also this guy named Derek. But yeah, he's ready. He's ready. He's trying to bail on the whole op, and then she tells him what's up, and all of a sudden he is all the way back in.
Right, and this scene is like cut between this and finding out the French class. Ziggy now has the French club. He bonks the British intelligence guy on the head, takes that class. But now they know, because he does it, like his is more violent and like punches through the window and drags him out. So now they know it's like a hijacking.
Mm-hmm.
The previous times they just bought hook, line, and sinker, I am your new driver.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, yeah, France is weird. We just switched drivers.
In the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, at a rest area. We switched one at this broken down car. We switched one at that toilet. Now it's our third driver. It's a long drive to Dijon.
And I was like, when they got captured, I'm like, ooh, come on, Chekhov's Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
Cage.
It is happening. We are about to see.
So why do they have a cage above the gold?
I mean, we'll get there. I mean, we might as well just jump there
what
now
is the purpose before what they end up ultimately doing it for?
Why is that there at all?
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is the question. Why is that there? It doesn't work because it's great, so you can't fill that with gold. Like, maybe they fill it with gold and the bottom drops out. There's no actual useful reason for there to be a cage there, except, sometimes you got to burn up a bunch of bodies.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Because, that is what happens next. They decided to go to the chateau. They see the French class get dressed. So I was like, we got to go save them. They, of course, get caught immediately. Corbin and Mariska get put into a dungeon-like cell. And then we have the very rare, I want to have dinner, put this on scene, but it's the dude. It's every other time you see this in a movie, it's the lady that gets the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana Jones.
Right.
Put this on, have dinner. But this time the dude's got to put on an Armani suit, which he then immediately calls this is an abalone suit, which is very funny. Made me laugh real hard. And she convinces him, you got to go have this dinner, and you have to kill him. He's not on board with killing yet. But they have the dinner. It's a real standoff. He's keeping it cool until he hears the trigger words. Follow through. Oh, Chekhov's follow through. His dad gave it to him in the kitchen at the beginning. Now he's getting it from Steranko. This guy's getting tired of being told to follow through, so he fucking tries to go over the table. Long table. That's dumb. Bad plan. But he gets bonked. They're like, we're gonna kill his friends, kill the girl, make him watch, throw him back in the cell. Red light, green light. Now he's got the bomb. The gum. Chews up the gum. This is actually pretty well done for a mistake. Like, it makes sense that, how would he know how to do it? Do you have enough time to smash the two together and shove it in the keyhole? So he tries to put the gum in and then the wrapper, and then it knocks the gum out. So that's the fun thing with the under the door where he's got to hide there, and the guard gets it stuck to his shoe, and he's trying to get the guard to step on the wrapper, blows him right out of his shoes.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And that's why we have to take our shoes off at the airport.
Yes. Yes. So all it took was that dinner before he's like, I guess I'll kill. He didn't even want to kill Steranko, the guy he knows is the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And now he just killed a guy at the door, takes his gun, crawls through a pipe, sees the French club, Temple of Doom, all in the thing, laying over. Kills like a dozen guards.
It also reminded me of that scene from Austin Powers with the slow steamroller, where they're just like slowly going, they freeze it, and then the gate just falls open. Like, wait, why didn't we just do the gate thing? Like, we didn't have to do the whole whatever.
They were too high up. I don't know. I mean, just at least open the door and be like, I'll climb. Just climb. Somebody climb. I would have climbed. Make them, if nobody was in the room. I would have tried to open that door and climb. Because otherwise they just start shooting and we all die. But he gets him down, freezes the gold with liquid nitrogen.
Fiona's idea.
Works.
Yep.
French Club gets out. And then we have, oh my God, just one of the best moments. He helps the teacher down. She's going, what's going on? What's going on? And he goes, I don't have time to explain, but now you are the French teacher.
Yes.
And she goes, I understand. And then this is an interesting thing about, or maybe not, it's just a thing about memories or whatever, because it's been 30 years since I've seen it. And somehow in that 30 years, I had turned the scene where she ties the thing around her head and does the thing with a gun. I had conflated that and put that as Linda Hunt doing it in my memory. So then to see, like, as soon as he goes, you are the French teacher, my brain was like, no, it's her. She does it. Oh my God. And then to tie the headband, I am the French teacher. Snap the gun. Like, she knows, they all know how to use these guns. Incredible. He says, you go save. He sends them to stop the thing and he has to chase somebody else, save the girl.
Turns her. Is it an ascot? What's the
like
thing?
a scarf or whatever.
A scarf.
Yeah, like she turns her scarf into a Rambo headband.
Oh yes, but they have to go stop this toast thing because this is actually a pretty good bomb plan. Like, I don't think this is a real poison, but whenever he does the thing where the Bond movie thing where he tells the whole plan, the thing where everybody drinks the poison champagne and then the poison kicks in eventually, months later or whatever, and then people just start dying of what appear to be natural causes. Like, if that was a Bond movie thing, that'd be diabolical. And you wouldn't get caught. So they gotta stop it. It's incredible. The thing where the teacher stops the toast, the champagne's poison, knocks the chandelier down.
Doesn't he fight the claw first?
Yeah, he fights the claw. That's what it is. That's why he doesn't get away right away. He has to fight the claw.
Like a Roman Greco wrestling match on top of the frozen gold.
And so fast too. Like, thank God they didn't drag this out like they would now. This would be a 10-minute scene now.
Yeah.
But his metal hand all slogged up with melted gold.
Fingers. I think it's a reference. I think it's a touchdown.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right? And then he just tangles him up in the chain and drops the cage, which then makes the whole thing explode. That's pretty cool. I don't know how that would make it explode.
Death scene.
But yeah, wrap that up. Get back to trying to rescue the girl and the French Club. And I guess all of Europe.
Yeah.
That move though, when he shows up from the side of Steranko, Colcord, when he shows up on the side, he goes, "I'll drink," but he pulls his glass and switches the glasses. That's really cool.
It's a baller move.
Yeah. That's why he had figured out how to be a spy by then. He knew all the notes. He knew exactly what to do.
We didn't even need a training montage.
He caught all the way up.
There wasn't one. He
Point.
never got trained.
Yeah.
But he figured out it'd be dope.
His training montage was just getting gadgets.
And being super cool.
Yeah. So Steranko, Ilsa, they snatch the girl, Mariska. Now they're escaping by helicopter with all the gold.
Right.
So the French teacher got to get everybody else out of the building. Greico goes after the girl and the bad guys. Helicopter's too heavy with all the gold. He pushes the hostage out first. Still too heavy. Linda Hunt tries to push gold out. Colcord, Steranko. Steranko is wrapped up in grease, so he pushes Linda Hunt out. Shooting, helicopter, hole, gold falls. He tries to catch it. He falls too. I guess he gets buried in gold, and that's how he dies.
It's a combination of like getting buried in gold and then just impact.
The helicopter falls on him too or something.
Yeah.
I was glad that Ilsa got to use her whip of justice one last time.
Yeah. Which is really funny because like she gets pushed out of the helicopter because she's too heavy and then whips herself back onto the helicopter but is no longer too heavy.
Yeah, so it still works. She just
This is, by the way, this is too late to bring this up, but their relationship is Ilsa Augustus's mom, or is that? Do we ever find out what their relationship?
It's kind of like Scott.
Yeah, they don't have the same last name.
No. But maybe she remarried. We don't know.
I think she's Ava Braun to his Hitler, because he's trying to take over Europe and be like a dictator. And
so they're just engaged.
Yeah.
They're in a relationship. All right.
No, I don't think.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
The benefits are she kills people for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does all the work the whole time.
Yeah.
She's working hard.
Right. I think she's just a villain. Also, she's just involved. She just can't be the face of it.
She wants to be the right hand man of Europe's next fascist dictator.
Right. It's ill defined, but in the same way that a lot of the James Bond stuff is.
That's true. Yeah, it probably would have made more sense to me if I had seen more Bond movies.
Yeah. But now they have to escape, and they're on the roof now. Greico, Michael Corbin, and Mariska are on the roof, and they got to escape an exploding chateau. And he's got those wall climbing sneakers.
But dude, that before you even get to that, the helicopter motor surviving and then acting like a boat propeller.
Oh yeah, the way the whole thing flips and then
all they
off.
had to do was just move slightly to the left.
Yeah.
Don't run in the same direction as it. Just move over. What are you doing?
Yeah. So, right, this is it. He basically just slides down. They throw a couple of one-liners in for the wall climbing part or whatever.
Like every single catchphrase that they could have used through this whole movie goes into the last 15 seconds
Well, there
of this
was
movie.
after the guy kills the areola with the thing. There's a line about like making her explode or something like that. Like it's a vaguely sexual.
Right.
Oh, right. I remember what you're
He
talking about.
tells Augustus to keep the change when all the gold's falling on him.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. It's then they find out the French. Oh, she's with me, but she goes, "I am the French teacher with the gun. I'm the French. Help us! I'm the French teacher." God, that lady is cool.
Yeah, love her.
Yeah.
The whole thing, and then it's over. Like I love the way like it starts fast and it ends fast, and most of what we're watching is the movie. They just do a good job of letting us watch the movie and not making us watch. There's not a lot of prologue or epilogue. It's like
right.
The least amount of setup this story needs.
Dude, that first act is like 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's quick. And the third act, there's no, we don't even like, it's over before, like the building's still on fire. The authorities have not quite arrived. The intelligence agencies have, but like the fire trucks aren't there yet. There's no.
They haven't even figured out that he's not an agent.
Yeah, they still don't even know who he is.
They're ready to sign him up for another mission. Like, nobody knows what's happening.
Yeah, and there's gone. It's over. I mean, this movie takes place in like over the course of like 3 days, 4 days.
What's funny too, though, about that is the timeline doesn't make any sense in a couple ways. Firstly, when they go to when you see the chateau for the first time, that entire area is covered in snow. It's June.
Yes.
And then the next time we see it, it is freshly
right.
Covered in snow. Blade's dead. Michael Corbin getting on this Detroit flight. She gets to Detroit. Graduation.
Yeah.
Right? You're right. That doesn't make... Why is it snow? It's just snow because that's what a cool Bond thing is.
Also, don't know if you guys caught this, but I worked in travel, so when I see a passport, I look at it. That passport was issued June 5th, 1989, and expires June 6th, 1990. He goes to France in 1991, because that's when it's happening.
Right, also passports last for longer than a year and a day.
They last longer for a year and a day. They last for 10 years,
10
in
years.
fact.
Well, this is our recap. We're going to come back and talk about the movie and talk about our favorite parts and our favorite lines and do the questions that we have.
But not before.
We talk to the Raz. All right, here we are with the Raz for If Looks Could Kill, man. Did you know about this movie before we brought it up?
I think I know the box art and the name. I don't think I've ever seen it. Or maybe a clip. Maybe I saw a clip when you were over watching it at some point. I don't know, because I don't remember anything about it. Other than there was a scene or a movie completely ripped it off well, one of the best movies ripped off a scene for sure. 4 years later, but the breakfast scene where the kid was, where he was talking to his dad, and he's like, "Are you about to give me the this kind of a talk?" And the dad's like, "I'm about to give you this kind of a talk." That was in another movie, or I saw that clip somewhere, but I didn't know anything about it.
The follow-through speech.
Right. Right. That movie, yeah. That was in another movie, or I have seen that clip before.
I mean, that scene is in that scene is in every movie. Like every movie with a teenager.
You're about to give me the "don't drive under the influence" speech, aren't you?
Right. Like there's probably a word for word scene in Better Off Dead.
Probably.
And that's just off the top of my head. And a little peek behind the curtain. It's early. I'm not awake all the way. So Better Off Dead is the best I could do.
Right.
So what'd you think of If Looks
Could Kill? Early. Hold on, for the audience listening, it's noon.
Yeah, it is noon.
Baby, I watched this movie 6 hours ago.
I was on stage 12 hours ago, so that means that
there
hasn't been a lot of. It takes a while for me to fall asleep after after a set. So
I get it.
Early for me, not for the Raz. The Raz is an early riser.
Fair enough. I'm an early riser. This is a Saturday morning cartoon day for me. Yeah. So I watched it.
Yeah, so that's excellent. What'd you think of it?
It was a movie. It wasn't good. I mean, it wasn't good. Look, it was silly. It was cheesy. It wanted to be so many things. It wanted to be, it kind of wanted to be Top Secret. It kind of wanted to be, 21 Jump Street. It kind of, which also had him, like it also, after replacing Johnny Depp, it also, it was, look, I like the James Bond element. I like that there was a cartoon growing up when I was a kid, maybe a little bit after your time, but it was like right in between, right? Where it was a morning cartoon. I remember watching it before I'd go to school, called The Young James Bond or James Bond Jr. or something like that. And, it was like of that time where he even had like a mullet, and he was like this young high school or spy or whatever. And I love all that idea. Like, I like that. I love, I used to go by Johnny Quest. I love all that kind of, young espionage, young adventurer espionage, young people foiling bad guys.
Yeah.
But when it's better.
This is a hard sell to an adult.
It is.
I will say, as somebody who watched it, I probably saw it 15 times before I lost the tape.
Right.
When this movie came out, I probably saw it was 13, 14. Me and Troy watched it a lot. And then watching it again, I was actually, I was pretty happy with how well it held up, as far as it was as good as I remember. But I have that 13-year-old attachment to it.
Right. Some of the jokes, some of the lines and everything, like some of the editing, I feel like, they were like, sometimes then he would say it, like there'd be like a beat where it's like, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like it's like they just happen to, like, France is a big place, and they just happen to keep running into the same people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they keep running into their school bus. One of those things.
Yeah, it's pretty it's pretty unlikely.
Yeah. It's funny because this movie has, and I've mentioned this before, and and also the teacher, like Michael Corbin, like the amount of times they said the word Michael Corbin in sequence.
Yeah.
It's not even just like, "Hey, Michael," or whatever, is so funny. But this was also of a time, I realized that it was like, there was a few years from the 80s and even 90s where Detroit was like also a city that had movies, meaning like he's from Detroit, like it's like Chicago, and like now it's like there was a time where it was hip to have hey, let's have this movie, have this kid set in Detroit, like, or whatever.
Yeah, there was a lot of it, yeah.
But yeah, it was, it was a movie, had Richard Greico in it. Oh, Richie.
His feature film debut.
Oh, really? Was it?
Yeah.
In his last?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know if he started anything else, but
I don't know how many things he's been in other than I know Richard Greico for, 3 reasons now. One, He took over. He did 21 Jump Street, and then he in Night at the Roxbury.
Yeah.
Right? They said I think they mentioned him, Richard Grieco, in that movie. I know they mentioned Emilio. They kept saying Emilio Estevez, but I'm pretty sure. I think he was in that movie. If not,
Oh no,
I'm
he
mistaken.
was. He
but I feel
definitely
like
he cameoed in Roxbury.
that's Richard Grieco. Yeah. And when I first moved to LA, and like nobody knows who Richard Grieco is. Let's face it.
Right.
Nobody knows. he's like you and I are nobodies, but he's a nobody too.
Right.
He's been in things and nobody knows who.
Yeah.
I like to say it. I use the test of, does my brother know who he is? Like my brother doesn't know what Hailey Bieber looks like, but he knows Justin married a girl named Hailey Bieber.
Right.
He knows the name. So I like to use that. My brother, Midwest Michigan, just a fun litmus of
my mom doesn't
who's
know
actually.
My mom doesn't know who Richard Grieco is, but if I said Christian Slater, she would know.
Right. She's enough in the world of pop culture, and she watches enough where she knows who the people are.
Yeah, and he is.
Richard is not one of those people. When I first moved to LA, I went to a bar with a friend of mine up in the valley, and we were like waiting in line to get in, or we couldn't get in, or something. And in front of us was one of my buddy's friends, and next to him was a guy and a girl, and something like that. It could have been they were in sequence, right? Maybe they knew each other, maybe they didn't. I don't know. And they all turn around and we introduce, and my buddy's introducing. He goes, "Oh, Razzle," and then for some reason, somehow or whatever, we're talking, and he's like, "Oh, Richard Grieco." He introduces himself as the full name, Richard Grieco. And I, without missing a beat, I just said, "I know who you are." And he turned to like his girl or whatever. He's like, "He knows who I am." And then he keeps talking to it like without missing a beat. He bragged that I said I know who he is. And he introduced himself in the full name. Now, you and I roll with people,
right,
who know people, right? I know people, you know people. We roll in circles where we meet famous people, right? You travel with Tom. Tom's friends with Jason.
Right.
I don't even need to say his full name because both you and I know when he introduced himself to you, he didn't say his full name.
No, he did not. He said, "I'm Jason, star of Aquaman: Fallen Kingdom." He gave through a credit.
He gave a credit instead of his last name.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah. Who does that?
Who does that? And he was dressed like he was still kind of like in the 90s. Now, when I first moved out here, it was 2009, so I get it. Ed Hardy was still maybe kind of falling out in 2009, but he had like one of those weird shirts on, and he had like weird like rhinestone kind of ripped jeans, which is back, I guess, for 15, 16 years ago, maybe that was still kind of in. I don't know, but it definitely looked like he was. Look, I'm 43 and I got a blonde mohawk and you don't have sleeves on your hoodie. We're both kind of holding on to something.
Oh yeah,
but this guy was definitely holding on to something.
I mean, wouldn't you? If I met him, I would talk to him for as long as he would talk to me about only this movie.
Well, that's the thing. Is like I didn't know him from this movie, so had I been like, that's why when you said "Looks That Kill" and I looked it up and I saw his name, I'm like, oh, I got Richard Grieco. I know that guy. So I know that guy because of the two things I know him from. Right. Now I know him from three things.
Well, one of the things you know him from is a sidewalk.
Right. I know him from two actual films and a sidewalk. Richard Grieco from The Sidewalk.
Yeah, from earlier outside. You guys met out front.
Yeah.
I will say as people who, we're at this point in the podcast, so the listeners know that I love this movie still.
Right.
I'm so glad that it's on Prime, and I will probably watch it more often than I should, just because I'm nervous about when it leaves Prime.
Right. Look, I will say, Um, it, I mean, it had the red light, green light before MI1.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't say it, but it had the explosive bubble gum. Now, that's also a trope. Like, I doubt they invented that, you know, but Mission Impossible did it better. But, you know, that was fun. The sneakers with suction cups was, you know, it's fun. It was, you know, it was
Yeah, it's all just goofy.
they had some
Bond
fun
stuff.
things. Right. Goofy Bond stuff.
Which is interesting, like, because Troy's the guest on this pod, and we were talking about, like, we love this movie, but had no James Bond touchstones at all. We hadn't seen any James Bond anything yet.
Right.
And Austin Powers wasn't out, so we just had, like, this was our thing. And watching it now, I think I like it at the same level that I liked it before, but for different reasons. Like, I get what I have a better idea of what they're doing with the
like
Bond
what they're trying to
villain
parody
and
or whatever. Right.
and
the claw guy.
Right, and the bad guy is a good enough actor. He could have been an actual Bond villain, like Roger Reese, Robin Colcord. He should have been a fucking Bond villain. He was great.
Right. Yeah, it was. You know, I mean, it wasn't garbage.
Yeah.
You know, but it was.
But that is that's
you know,
the blurb. That's the pull quote. It wasn't garbage.
Yeah, it wasn't garbage. Pete Travers, Rolling Stone.
How many movies like this would you have to recommend before you got to this one? Would you ever recommend? Are there any circumstances under which you'd recommend this movie?
I mean, I guess that's the question of, right? Like, what's the impetus? What's the causality of this conversation? Meaning, someone's like, "Hey, I want a spy movie," or like, if I'm on a game show, you know, like whatever. Where it's like, because it is a genre. It's not really comedy, but it says it's a comedy, but it's like a spy, nostalgic 90s spy, fish out spy comedy.
Yeah.
It's like Ferris Bueller meets James Bond, which could have been the pitch,
Yeah.
But again, like you said, Austin Powers, Top Secret, if we're just going by like spy comedies, Spy Hard, there's a lot. Lethal, Loaded Weapon, I would chalk up into that, action parody comedies, Hot Shot, they're all kind of, so I don't know where this would go, but then again, it's like, if we're just talking spy, then we got the MIs, then we got all the JBs, then we got the Jason Bournes and the James, so I don't know. I guess I don't know where this would fall.
It would have to be a very question. Specific ask. I want to watch a ridiculous spy movie that stars a TV actor.
Right. Well, because even like the 21 Jump Street movies were great, I thought.
Yeah.
And those were fun. And those were kind of similar. Where it's like
those were if Billy Madison was a cop.
Right. Right. Which is also a funny pitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Billy Madison, but he's a cop,
No, I want to see that. I want to see Billy Madison as
but
a cop.
But also it's like, this is also kind of like something where it's been, like what was that Frankie Muniz movie where he was like a young spy, Agent Cody Banks.
Agent Cody Banks, yeah.
It's like similar where it is like, it's a fun, this one's not as kidsy. So it is like that weird, here's the thing too, is like movies like this were a weird, like, we don't have a lot of these anymore. Right. And I say this with like Ryan and I, we were watching the two Paddingtons last night, and I love the Paddingtons, and I watched them. I'm going to go see the new Paddington this weekend, Paddington 3.
Yeah.
It's not by the same guy, but right. But those are PG movies. Like, I'm like, people say they don't make comedies anymore. And it's like, but they do. Like this, like those are two flawless, funny movies that the whole family can watch. It's not like a rated R comedy that it needs to be rated R or needs to be adult comedy, right? Like, I get it. Those are fun sometimes when they're good, but also there's a genre. Like when we grew up, movies like Goonies was a family action comedy. Like everybody enjoyed it. Probably more so the kids, but there were family, like Pixar does a good job of making movies that the whole family can enjoy and laugh at, right? There are a few companies that will make great movies for everybody to watch, right? Now, we've definitely got into, I feel like it's either, over 15 for everybody or under 12, right? Like other than like a few companies like Pixar, DreamWorks with the How to Train Your Dragons and stuff, which started off as kind of like kids movies, there's not specific movies coming out right now that are literally for high schoolers. I don't think.
No, it doesn't. I don't know.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, I'm not in high school, but it's also, or like high school, college. Like college kids weren't going to go see this. This was for 12 to 18-year-olds, maybe not even 18, 12 to maybe 18. I guess he had that audience, but
right. But
like,
it was like,
it was the demo for this.
It had like the violence of an adult action movie. Like this movie isn't really for anybody. It's bloody.
Right.
It's pretty bloody for a high school PG thing, and it's pretty stupid for an adult thing. It's not for anybody.
Right, which is interesting.
It's a movie the whole family cannot enjoy at the same rate.
Everybody in the family will hate it for different reasons.
Yeah, except for me. I love it. I'm in.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So that's If Looks Could Kill. What you want to plug? I think I know. I think I remember.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to lead out. I don't know how much more time we got, but here's the deal. Last episode, or the last 2 episodes, I made it a point. Instead of plugging anything, I'm like, follow my socials or whatever. But I said to text somebody you haven't talked to in a while and tell them hi. Now, part of that was an impetus because I'm going to tell a little story if I have 2 minutes of time. Do I have time?
Yeah.
Great. So when I moved to Orlando, Florida in 2005, right? And I moved into an upstairs apartment, and below me was a guy by the name of John Moore. He was also a musician. He lived under me. We hung out. He was cool. He was good friends with one of the guitar players in the band OK Go, which made that viral treadmill video. Yeah. Here It Goes, right? They filmed that video in Orlando, and I watched it on VHS the day after they filmed it in my buddy John's apartment underneath me.
Wow.
Right? He went to school before me. He graduated before he left. He was already there prior. So he moved out in like January of 2006. Right. Haven't seen him since, maybe a little bit on MySpace, a little bit on Facebook. He would always post like band stuff, but it was never like him. It was always just promoting his band art or whatever. It was never really posted a lot on social media. I saw a meme about the OK Go video approaching 20 years old last December. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to see if John from downstairs, if the phone number that I still have, if I still have it, tried to see if I could find the number. I found it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to text him and say hi, send him this meme and say hello. Cause I haven't talked to this guy or seen this guy. I haven't seen him in person in 20 years, but I haven't talked to him in probably 15 or 16, maybe longer. So December, I text him, hey man, I saw this and I'm thinking of you. Happy holidays. He's like, holy shit. Thank you for reaching out. It's been great. How are you? And, we send it some cordial things. And over the last, a couple weeks later, he'd send me something funny, just a random thing. And, I probably haven't seen or texted him since January, right? But I reached out to him because, again, part of what I've been plugging on here is to reach out to people you haven't seen in a while and say hi. And I was on Thursday night, I was at the Palladium. Blink-182, one of my favorite bands, was playing with Alkaline Trio, benefit concert for the firemen who helped save the day in Los Angeles. And I get a tap on my shoulder. And it's John from downstairs.
Holy shit.
Who's at that concert because he's in a band with the new drummer from Alkaline Trio. And he flew in just for that day to watch that show because Blink and Alkaline were playing at a small venue.
Oh, man.
And we hung out that night. We hung out the rest of the night and reconnected. And it made my night. Like seeing Blink in a small ass venue sounded amazing. But the best part was seeing a guy that I haven't seen in person in 20 years.
That's awesome.
That's
a fucking
randomly
great story,
because randomly because the universe provided.
Yeah.
And it was.
But you put out the right energy. So that's what you're telling.
Right.
We got to put out that energy.
So I'm telling you, put out that energy. Text somebody randomly that if there's somebody you haven't thought of or somebody you haven't talked to in a long time that was a part of your life. The trick here too is as we get older, we have different factions, right? Like we can have the same friend group for 2 years or 5 years, and then they move or whatever. Office work, you know what I mean? Like text somebody that's been a part of your life heavily that you would see regularly, for at least a year or two, someone that was a big part of your life, and then you moved or they moved or whatever, you moved a different job or whatever. Pick someone that you haven't talked to in a long time and that was a part of your life, influenced you somehow. You don't know how anymore, but they did at some point, and say hi.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's great, man. All right, so that's the Raz, and we'll be right back with the questions for If Looks Could Kill. All right, we're back. That was the Raz, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit surprised by that. But now we're back, and we're gonna do the roundup. We did the recap, and now we're doing the roundup for If Looks Could Kill. Let's start with the cohorts. Y'all had never. Bjorn, you might have seen it.
I'm pretty sure I saw it. Yeah.
And Randy, you had never even heard of it.
Correct.
So this time through, what did you start with? Let's start with Bjorn, because you may have seen it. You had very fresh eyes. What's your adult take on this movie?
The adult. Oh, this is so great. I really, really enjoyed it. I really liked the, I don't know, all the Bond references. I got them all this time.
Yeah.
I think even though I was a huge Bond fan as a kid, I don't think I would have caught all the, like the Goldfinger thing or like the areola or any of those nods, or like, I just always liked all of the scenes where like they got gadgets and then you get to see them used later.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to speak for Troy. We'll let him answer this part. So I'll just say my piece. I don't think I knew it was a Bond thing. Like that's how little James Bond existed in our lives at the time.
Didn't even know what that was. Didn't have a concept of that whole genre, really.
Right. Definitely not the genre. The most we might have known is Bond, James Bond. Right. There might have been.
He does it once.
Right.
He says Clayton, Michael.
Corbin.
Corbin.
Yeah. But Michael Clayton is a different movie.
It's a different movie. Oh, wait. We're watching Looks Could Kill? I thought we were watching Michael Clayton.
I mean, we could talk about Michael Clayton. I love those action movies where the action is talking. It's one of those talking fights. It's a movie full
Sometimes
of talking
they're
fights.
great.
The really good ones, A Few Good Men, that's a talking. The action is all talking. Michael Clayton's great, but Michael Corbin.
Mm-hmm.
But we knew that James Bond, our familiarity with James Bond was from just the references to it from other things. Sam Malone puts on a tuxedo.
Yeah.
So
fucking 100 things from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything. I mean, at the time, we saw this movie years before we were allowed to watch The Simpsons.
Okay.
I don't even know if I don't know if the rule was technically rescinded. We might still not actually be allowed to watch The Simpsons.
We're still breaking that one. That's a violation every time.
Right? It's like it's the law in the books that they never those small towns in the South where you're like technically it's still illegal to spit on the sidewalk. That kind of
right.
So we weren't even watching
it.
Especially in '91. We were definitely, because that was when all the Bart Simpson overachiever, don't have a cow, like all that stuff was. The merch was so ubiquitous, and it was all about being a smart mouth, and we were not. We were never.
It was. I had a T-shirt with Bart Simpson on it. That was an Indiana Hoosiers T-shirt.
That's allowed.
And it was Bart holding a skateboard, and he was saying "Ay caramba," which is Spanish for shit. So
yeah. But they didn't know that. The old man did not know what "Ay caramba" meant.
And the IU logo made everything fine.
Well, that's the thing with Dad is if it involved Indiana somehow, he gave me that Kurt Vonnegut book, but only because Kurt Vonnegut was also from Indiana, not because he was familiar with the stuff he wrote, or that it would eventually turn me into a socialist.
So you guys could wear Big Dog parody T-shirts?
No, they had I guess technically yes, because a parody T-shirt of a Big Dog T-shirt I had a T-shirt where Jesus was slam dunking.
right? We had those. The Jesus parody shirts that would parody brands.
Yeah, the Christian
sell them
knockoffs.
at the Bible bookstore.
Oh, Big Johnson. That's what you're talking about.
No, Big Dog. The ones that, like, because I had a South Bark T-shirt that was just all the. Do you remember Big Dog?
Yeah,
I remember Big Dog.
I remember
but-
Big Dogs. Yeah,
Those
just
shirts
shirt parodies.
those shirts like started at 3X though, right? Like, isn't that the Big Dog thing? Was that they were made for? They were large shirts,
I had one as a kid. I don't know. Maybe I had like the children's.
right? So
triple
they made them in
the
all
thing that I
sizes,
said,
yeah.
that Jesus Slam Dunkin' was a Big Johnson parody.
Okay.
It was there was
That's
all
right,
those
okay.
shirts were around, and possibly had. I also think I had a No Fear, like a Christian themed No Fear knockoff,
yeah.
and a
Yeah.
real No Fear
I had
shirt.
I had a Mountain Dew one. It had some sort of reference to Mountain Dew and some Bible verse about a mountain or whatever.
Grateful Alive. I had a shirt that said Grateful Alive.
Oh, sure.
Oh, I
It
forgot
was
about
a
all the.
Grateful Dead parody.
Yeah.
I was over here with a Make 7 Up Your shirt.
Yeah, we wouldn't. That'd be a fun shirt of you make a shirt with the Last Supper painting and Jesus in the middle, but all the guys around him have their heads down and their thumbs up. Jesus about to play heads up 7-Up.
Make Jesus up yours.
Did you ever? Anybody here ever have a No Fear shirt?
Oh yeah.
I think so, probably at one point.
Do you remember what it said?
No Fear.
I think it just said no fear on it.
Mine had a thing on the back, one of those sport things. You know, it's essentially it's all you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Oh yeah,
Type
yeah.
quote. Mine said you can't steal second with your foot on first, which isn't technically true.
Right.
You can't steal second if you're not on first. That's accurate. You can steal second with your foot on first if you're fast or you're playing one of those leagues where you're not allowed to lead off. But you still can steal a littler league where the bases are like 60 feet or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Like for 10-year-olds. But anyway, so I wore that lie for a year. I would argue that truly having no fear would mean you leave your foot on first. Like Vince Coleman, Ricky Henderson could leave his foot on first. He had no fear. He would steal second with his foot on first. No fear. Anyway, Ricky Henderson, is that what we're talking about? He just got in the Hall of Fame.
What
Or he
was your
just passed
favorite
away. That's
part
what it was.
of this movie?
Was my favorite part of this movie?
Like now, this on this watch, seeing the Crypt Keeper.
I'll say that no, that was the thing that that I was really surprised by. I think my favorite part of this movie, my favorite moment in this movie is the "You are the French teacher, I understand" moment. I understand, because how could you?
Yeah.
The last sentence you said was, "What's going on, Michael?" And he said, "I'll tell you later, but you are the French teacher." What?
I think
how does she even know what that
already
means?
knew. She is the French teacher. That's her job.
Yeah, but she's still like, what? What do we think she thinks is happening? She has no idea what's
She doesn't
happening.
know what's going on.
That her
Yeah.
person she has been supposed to be in charge of, she hasn't seen in days since they got on the plane. She hasn't had any like real
Any
connection,
contact with him, yeah.
no contact. People are trying to kill him. Maybe they're definitely trying to kill them. Nobody knows who they are. They don't ever explain to them who they think they are. So when he says, "You are the French teacher," and then she grabs the gun and snaps the thing and ties the thing around her head, what the fuck does she think is happening? Because she just, I guess she just guessed what was happening and was right. That has to be my guess.
She had a lot of context clues at that point, so she knew that Michael was still on her side. But
I mean, she was dangling from a cage over a gold smelter. At this point, she's like, "Fuck it, I'll take the gun."
Right. But
Right.
how would she
that
doesn't
gets your
know who
adrenaline going.
she doesn't know who to shoot at. That's the thing. Like,
Anybody that's not her kids.
but no, most of the people at the chateau are about to be killed by the bad guy. Like, there's 6 of the 100 people there are bad,
That's true.
and they all are dressed the same.
Right.
They all
'cause
just wear suits.
But
and
she
shit.
does know she has to stop the champagne toast.
Right.
So that's what
it.
she does.
That's what she knows.
Right.
she gets in there and does that. She shoots the chandelier and it falls on top of the pyramid of champagne glasses.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's hard for me to say what my actual, because there's parts in all of them. I love the scene in the casino more now than when I was a kid, because now I know what that scene is.
Mm-hmm.
That scene it's a James Bond scene.
It's Casino Royale.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't understand like back then. I probably would have just been a little bored, and then also hopeful that the spec showed boobs. You know, I was 13.
Yeah.
When I saw this as a kid, I think my favorite part, as a closeted gay man at the time, would be Richard Greico in his briefs.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn, he sold those Calvin Kleins for me.
Wow.
As a kid, I loved movies where guys were like in their underwear running around. Risky Business.
Right? Back to the
It happened
Future
a lot
for a
back
minute.
then.
Yeah. It was like the way it manifested for me in my brain. And then I turned it into a business, and that's my main source of income. My weird underwear fetish.
Well, let's
Bearskin.com.
let's back up a little bit. You just actually make underwear. You make boxer shorts and socks.
Yep.
And they're both excellent. I have some. Bearskin.com.
Yep.
BEAR.
Yep. SKN.com. I got to send you some too.
SKN?
SKN, no I.
Okay. I
Yeah,
just want to make sure that
for real.
this wasn't an SMRT situation.
We sell underwear for big guys.
Yeah, and
That's
they
good.
work.
I had no
Yeah.
idea. All right. Cool. I'm into that.
They're good. I was wearing the socks the other day.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so it's not, I don't want, right,
just-
so you just got fixated on hot bods and cool briefs.
Yep.
And then made a business that don't make briefs. That's pretty good. That's
We
fun.
do briefs.
Oh, you do briefs too?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Well, would you be interested? What if we tried to contact a studio and make you know how Stance or whatever will make four types of socks for Beetlejuice or whatever?
Yeah.
Or perhaps a movie that's already just been out for a while. What
Yeah.
if we made? What if we got them to let you make, if looks could kill themed socks and undies?
Yeah.
I could do it. Or we could do like a
Limited
nod
run.
to it so we don't get shut down on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
We could do a short run.
Yeah, short run. If looks could kill socks.
What would they say? Don't
love
shave
that.
in your soda?
No, they would just say, one says, you are the French teacher.
You are the
the other
French
says,
teacher.
"I
Oh, you are the
understand."
French teacher. Yeah.
Right,
You
the
are
top,
the French teacher.
the top where you would put the stripes,
Yeah.
that should be the ascot
Yeah.
pattern,
Yeah.
and then the sock is just the
Yeah.
color.
I like it.
Right, this part we'll definitely leave in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about this movie, Troy, from then and now? Like,
I mean, I really I enjoy everything that happens on the plane. It's just fun to watch them in that closed environment, and there's still that back and forth. Like there's a few different people who aren't sure exactly what's going on. So yeah, that's a really cool scene. I love like Linda Hunt is just perfect that whole time. Her she's got to roll with some punches too, and she's hilarious.
she does a pretty good job being a flight attendant, considering she never had training
Yeah.
and just
Yeah,
showed up by
She
accident.
does all the stuff.
I love when he bent, like, there's that juxtaposition of, like, him kicking his seat back, and then it cuts to his friend who, like, drops something, bends over, and then the person kicks their seat back,
Dude.
and he's, like, folded.
That was so fucking funny.
That was great.
Yeah, it was good. They do that, compare and contrast his experience in first class and everyone else's
Yeah.
experience in coach.
Well,
It's food.
It's been a full 30 years since we've seen it. Do you remember what your favorite part was when we were kids?
I don't know. I mean,
Or like when you watched
I
it
know
this
it-
time, did anything pop up like, oh yeah, I remember this. This was my, like, that's like, I don't
I
really
mean-
have one from that I remember from then, but I have ideas of what it was when I watched it now.
I remember the scene in the hotel room Like I remembered that from when I was a kid, for similar but different reasons than Bjorn does.
You were looking at the other side of the screen.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I don't even know how, like, I don't even know if I, like, really knew that it was sexual. Like, she was hot, but, like, all of that stuff going on was just so funny.
Yeah.
That I do remember.
Yeah.
That just, like, all the sounds or whatever. I didn't know that.
The noises she makes are crazy.
Yeah. And hilarious. And just enough not sex noises to just be hilarious to a 13-year-old.
Yeah. The faces she makes are wild.
Yeah. That's, I mean, what I remember from the beginning, or from the first time I watched it, I remember a few things. The Paige and Michael Corbin, the gold on the hand. I think my favorite part was the thing with the chewing gum. I did remember that being, like, sticking in my head as being cool. What about you, Randy? So you've never even heard of this movie until we brought it up.
Yeah, pretty much. I have a couple favorite parts. Hotel scene notwithstanding. Definitely the gadgets are really funny. Or I've liked those, like, with all the James Bond too. Like, the introduction to all the gadgets has always been really fun for me. So I think that probably would have been my favorite as a kid. Now that one still withstands. The German guy yelling from the bottom of the chateau is very funny to me. I like that a lot. Hotel scene's great. I'll say it. And that's kind of it. Oh, the plane scene too. Everything in the plane.
Yeah. I think as far as with the other questions go, the hotel room is the place I'd like to go.
Sure, swanky as
fuck. It's
fuck.
a dope hotel room
Yeah.
in Paris. Like, if I could hang out in one place there in this movie, it'd be that hotel room. That'd be awesome.
Or first class, you could smoke cigarettes on the plane.
Yeah.
Because nobody did, but they.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Say the
Never mind, I take it back.
On the
First
no
class.
smoking side.
Yeah, so we can
you
land
can sit in
this
first
thing.
class and
I'll say too, the
rip heaters the whole time.
the part of the chateau that's not gutted looks awesome.
Yeah, that is a good.
Yeah.
It is a dope spot. It's just a lot of upkeep. I'd rather have the hotel room. Somebody they have staff
Sure.
to keep it clean. I don't want to have to be in charge of the staff.
Okay. That's okay. That was it right there. Yep.
Do a little snowmobiling on the property while you're there.
in summer.
It's four-wheelers. There's
Yeah.
there's no. It's not even snowmobiles.
No, they're four-wheelers.
It's four-wheelers.
Mm-hmm.
Four-wheelers. That's right.
Right, which makes what happens to the guy, like what happens to the guy's hand is what would happen if you got caught in a snowmobile. There's nothing
Right.
like we got caught in the
What's
acid.
underneath
It feels like, yeah, it was an axle that's not part of a four-wheeler.
Yeah, who knows?
Is it also a lawnmower?
It has-
Deck blade down there?
He
I think
accidentally
that one
hit the
has
shredder
straps.
button. He hit Thresher as he fell off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all have a thing. They all have a thing possible that should not be attached.
Yeah, they double as wood chippers.
Yeah. I want to drive a Lotus in the French countryside. That
Yeah.
sounds fun.
It's
Yeah.
very pretty out
Just
there.
open it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, I mean,
That scene was cool.
every time I
That'd be
see
a
a
good place
movie
to
in
be.
Europe, they're always doing car stuff at real cool spots.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, like To Catch a Thief or whatever. Like, I would want to be in the car that drives along the coast. Like, any of that shit is. I wish I could see more of it, but yeah, you're right. That would be fun. Driving that fast ass car with rockets.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably.
With no labels
Figured out all the
on
switches.
any of it.
Right, this movie, like, it started in Detroit just right after Collision Course is in Detroit, and it feels like different planets. Are there different Detroits? They're the same Detroit, right? The one that Michael Corbin's in is
Yeah.
not nearly as fucking devastated.
That
and-
graduating class was pretty small too.
Yeah.
I feel like
yeah, for having it outside.
2 rows.
You have it outside when it's too big to have inside.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They could have done this at any. There's 50 rooms in that school that could do this.
Oh,
thing.
So did you guys have a sequel?
Oh yeah, I mean, this movie just has like we don't. Anybody that watches this movie is like, yeah, it should just be 3 more of these. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would prefer that if they did it involved Gorman and the French teacher. I think the French teacher should get brought in as part of it, and then maybe they do a couple. The next 2 are just straight up missions, and then the 4th one, they actually have to get a lot of the French club back.
Oh, sure.
For some reason, right?
Yeah.
They get
at least the valedictorian and his friend.
Yeah, the 2 that had lines.
Yeah.
And what do you think if they kept making these movies? Would there have been Austin Powers movies? Like,
Right.
there would have been an overlap if they made 3 or 4 of these.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
there would be.
I feel like there would be, but I don't feel like they would have been the same. Because I think any sequels would have probably negated a lot of the references that Austin Powers would go on to make.
Yeah, and that'd be good. Austin Powers makes a lot of first thing you think of references.
Yeah.
And like the movies, especially the 2nd and 3rd one, would be better if they were forced to think of a 2nd thing or a 3rd thing.
Yeah.
Instead of just top level.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like Austin Powers movies are good in the way that improv's good, except it's not improv.
Right.
So
Off
the
the
sequel. So what your sequel would be similar to, or a prequel?
Yeah.
We kind of talked about that.
We did, but I can't think of a prequel that I would like. Because it's like the origin story for what the fuck is his name?
Steranko?
Like the evolution of how he and Isla.
Yeah, none of that.
Ilsa?
You're right.
Yeah,
Ilsa.
Ilsa.
None
Ilsa?
of that.
That's not
Knowing
interesting.
anything about Bond villains makes it worse.
Right.
The only sequel or the only prequel to this would be Daltrey.
Yeah.
A Blade movie.
Yeah, and just not connected to this at all, aside from the fact that it's the same character. And just being able to watch a movie where Roger Daltrey's a super spy would be pretty rad. Because he is. It is also nebulous that it does. Nothing's. You don't really know who they're working for, like who, because they just say British intelligence,
Right.
As if somehow you would have to license the phrase MI6. So they just say British intelligence, and he's an American intelligence operative who reports to a lieutenant colonel. Not
They
somebody.
They call them CIA. They use CIA.
Yeah,
For American.
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
but Blade could
It's
be.
weird they don't say MI6.
You could build a whole like how in True Lies they work for Sigma or something, like it's a different
Some like private corporation.
it's a private business that does this.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that kind of had like the Blade vibes for that, and then you make a movie with Roger Daltrey as Blade, but you miss that window. That window closed essentially the minute this movie came out.
Yeah.
Would the sequel to it
Yeah,
be... Oh, go ahead.
This movie starts at the end of that franchise, whatever it would have been.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's over, and we got a whole new thing now. So they all they did was
But
put
is
a
he
button
even
on
good?
it, and
Because
that's it.
that's who they sent out to save the French or the finance ministers, and they had just been dropping like flies. So Blade is not even that good of a.
No, he's terrible.
Like this mission, he's very bad at. He just
guess
keeps getting
not.
bested.
My sequel is, I was thinking maybe Richard Greico comes back, becomes a stand-up comedian, and then builds his career on telling this as a story.
Oh, I see. You just want him shirtless some more.
So he'll just, so he'll be shirtless more. And he's a shirtless comedian that just tells this story over and over.
Right, a class trip that's not quite believable,
That was my sequel.
but probably mostly happened. So that movie came out a couple years ago. My sequel, sequel. We're doing sequel.
Yeah.
We already did it. What's yours? Do you have one? I mean, just the natural. The same way there's 25 Bond movies.
Exactly. Just another one of these with a different villain cast.
God, it would have been amazing to just take it all the way and have a second one with Greico and then a third one with somebody else, but same name.
Yeah,
And just do the Bond thing,
Yeah.
but with these people.
Just changing the names out. New students.
Right? It's always a high schooler.
It's always a high schooler missing whatever identity mistaken. So you guys didn't have recasts. You were like, no,
absolutely
we're not recasting this at all. Okay, I just had a thought about I agree. It should not be recast. But I feel like if this movie was made today, it would just be Kevin Hart, because that's every Kevin Hart movie.
Oh, sure.
He's caught in some situation. He doesn't know what's going on.
Wacky hijinks.
Yeah, and wacky hijinks, and he perfectly finds his way through and never loses, but doesn't know what he's doing.
Right.
It's it's like one of his characters that he does.
Yeah.
So this is the rare instance where you answer the question with a movie we don't want to see.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it. I'm just saying that I think that this is what it would be.
This is why never remake this, please.
Yeah, never remake
Although
it.
Kevin Hart would be in it, but he would not going to be Michael Corbin.
If they did a sequel and brought Greico back, I might be on board to give it 15 minutes, but I don't think so.
They'd probably have he'd be a villain or something.
No, but you're talking about a reboot. If they do a sequel, and now Michael Corbin is 55,
and still high school,
and just had a whole life, and this is just a thing that happened. He never really got involved in this business, but this is a thing that happened. And then 35 years later, he's on business. He's got, he just some business trip to France and runs sees the British intelligence guy he knew from back then. He watches it. He gets gunned down in the town square or whatever, and now he jumps back in. That'd be fun as shit.
Yeah, that'd be a good
movie. That'd be very fun.
Yeah,
I'd watch that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I'd buy four tickets. I promise I'll buy, even if I go by myself, I'll buy 4 seats.
Okay.
4 seats? I love it.
Just get out there. If Universal wants to do it, you got fucking $70 locked up right now. I'll see it at night. 4 tickets at night. The IMAX screen, the one where they bring stuff to you, where the ticket's $18. I'm throwing $80 at you, Universal.
So you guys said that you liked the ending, but is there an alternate ending that you came up with?
No.
No?
Nope.
No, I mean this is another one of those movies where whatever you do to make it better, any particular thing that you could do that might be cool or better, makes the whole thing worse. That's why I can't recast it. The movie's a bigger hit if it's Christian Slater, but I don't like it as much. I don't think the movie is as good.
Right.
I think Richard Greico, I think the absurdity of all of it helps.
Yeah.
Greico is just a hot TV guy. He's basically, at this point, Joey Lawrence.
Okay.
That would be a 1-for-1 comp in 1990. So just imagine Joey Lawrence is in this.
He does a really good job of going back and forth between being super cool and then all the way out of his depth. And he does both of those so well. I don't know if Christian Slater could pull off the being cool, but a little less at being out of his depth, I think. And then Anthony Michael Hall, he would be out of his depth and then just a dork the rest of the time.
Yeah.
He couldn't pull off the being cool part as well as Richard Greico did.
Well, this is making me want to watch, at least the second half of True Romance, because the Slater movies where he would have to act like he's out of his depth, that's the one. But does he ever?
Yeah.
He kind of doesn't.
No. Isn't that in his contract?
Nah, yeah, right.
I can't act out of my depth. I'm not Johnny.
I have to look like I always know what's going on. Even in that scene at the end when nobody really knows what's going on. That's why they shot him in one eye. So that we couldn't tell as an audience that he was still I got this. When everybody else is what the fuck?
Do you guys have any descriptions that's technically right, but not
I think I have 2 or 3.
accurate? Do you have one, Troy? A description?
I forgot about that one.
For this movie.
I know what you're talking about.
I got a couple.
I've got 3.
All right, what you got?
A lady who's definitely not in Poltergeist inflicts pain using a very unconventional whip.
All right, now you go.
All right. An attractive woman incorporates a scorpion into the bedroom with explosive results.
A super spy gets fooled again. Glad you like
A
that.
high school student.
Adultery, it's adultery. Joke.
A high school student that goes for. Okay, a high school student that shows that going for a condom can save your life. I'm obsessed with that scene.
I love that scene. My last one is a vaguely European henchman gets his hand on a T-1000 arm to complete his work.
Nice. You got another one, Bjorn?
After after hard work and determination, a one-armed man finally touches gold.
Does he? The fake hand touches.
Yeah, but it sounds like he won the gold medal.
Right. Mine are it's just a high school senior encounters obstacles trying to graduate. He's just trying to get his diploma.
Right.
Yeah.
This is all we immediately. It's easy to forget a few minutes into this movie that all of this is happening just so we can graduate high school.
Yeah. And go to college.
Because there is no French class available at summer school because they went to
I
France.
think the camera died.
Oh, my camera died.
Yeah, hang on.
That's all right, but the audio's still working, right?
He can't hear us.
Oh no!
It's okay. We'll just swap cameras. Or
I can
we'll swap batteries.
There's a battery right
yeah,
there.
we'll just
Hang
keep
on.
it rolling.
All right, should we pause or are we gonna? Is
No,
this like
we'll
an Indy
keep rolling
500
while I
pit
do.
crew? We're gonna leave this out, right?
Yeah.
I can say the N word.
I mean, we are still recording.
Sorry, I meant to check that before we.
Will you text him real quick? I don't know if he's seeing the chat in Zoom.
I think you did.
Yeah. I got you.
Okay.
I was worried, but yeah, I know you know.
Hell
Oh wait,
yeah.
yeah, I was muted. All right, my bad. I'm back.
Okay. We're getting back. Hang on.
I do have
I
a
meant
technically accurate description to share when that time comes.
Okay, we are back up. Let me just. So that was like 30-ish to 31:30.
Sorry, I meant to switch
No,
the
no, no,
battery when we paused, and I totally spaced.
Edit part 2. 32, 31, 30.
I got one more too.
Okay.
I never turned my timer on, so this is
Uh-oh.
definitely gonna be our longest episode, I think.
We're already at 2 hours, not counting Raz.
Perfect.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
I have a high school French teacher finally gets through to her student. That was my last one.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot a thing that I put at the end of the recap. So
Say
right
it
after
now.
they walk away,
Yeah.
the movie's over. Niles roundhouse kicks Daphne right in the butt for some reason, and she spills everything she's holding. Troy doesn't know about this yet, but I've started.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I forget about this every
I
fucking
turn,
time now.
Paramount Plus just lets them play, so they just stop at random, and so when I go back to put Frasier on and fall asleep, it's usually in the middle of an episode. So I just been saying the first thing I see. When this movie ends, the next thing I see is just a random whatever happens in a Frasier episode, and then when I just turn it over and Niles is in Frasier's living room, Dad on the couch, and he goes, "Watch this," and then he does some fucking janky roundhouse kick and just nails Daphne right in the ass as she spills a whole plate of stuff. I have no idea what's going on. I was asleep before that episode ended.
These always make me want to watch Frasier.
Yeah.
That's not really the point of them.
Like, what?
A lot of people fall asleep to white noise, and I am no different.
That joke never gets
The
old.
whitest noise.
The only thing I have left is the better title. Do you guys have
Well,
better
Troy,
titles?
I think had a
Or did you have a
synopsis, right?
description? That's right.
Oh yeah, just like French Club burnout.
Yeah,
Earns extra credit at summer school.
yeah,
Love
French Club Burnout. Ooh, an alternate title could be the French Collection.
Damn it, you got there.
God
I
damn
didn't
it.
have that one, but I was playing with that. I like that.
I did get 2 alternate titles.
Okay.
You got an alternate title?
I have 2. The first one is Yes and.
All right.
The second one is Nipple 21.
Do we have any other better names for the lady? No, this part's bad.
This feels like a trap.
You had titles?
Falopia.
Right, Mulva. What was it when I texted one to the thread earlier? Let me see if I can find it.
That was good.
Oh yeah, because her name is Ariella Canasta. Tite Poker, right?
Tite Poker.
They drag out like it's poker, but right, like that's both. Like now you got entendre and both. That's more of a that's Austin Powers 4.
My nipple 21 was just playing off of yours.
Yeah.
Ariola Grande.
So
Yes.
the Oscar for this movie goes to. We're gonna open this one up to more than one. Should they all get it? Best Picture?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if it's up against Silence of the Lambs, that's
Best
tough.
picture.
Best picture. Not
Yeah,
soundtrack.
Especially because it won.
It probably lost to Silence of the Lambs. I bet it was nominated. I've never looked up what Silence of the Lambs was against, but I bet it was against this. These were the only 2 Best Picture nominees that year. 1 vote. Turns out, Silence of the Lambs won by 1 vote. If Looks Could Kill, I don't have it's hard to come up with an alternate title, but it's also
It's such a good title.
Yeah.
it's a great title, but also what what does it mean? It doesn't mean it. It doesn't
Well, it
really
sounds
attach,
like a
but
Bond
It just
movie.
sounds like a Bond movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Randy, what do you got?
4. Oh, Oscars?
Or Oscar, either
Titles, I read them off.
one. Oh, okay.
Yeah, nipple 21 and yes and.
See, it's harder than you think, Bjorn.
Yeah.
You forget
I got
who
a bunch.
answered.
Troy, do you have any alternate titles?
No. Looks do kill. That's
Looks do
That's
kill.
a-
Do kill.
see looks.
The tagline should say, "Looks don't kill, I do," and then it's the French teacher. This
Yeah.
movie's about the French teacher.
All right. I got Wrong Place, Right Time.
Sure.
The Man with the Golden Hand. Not Afraid to Die. Tomorrow Never Drives. From French Class with Love.
Okay.
Thunder Wiener.
Boner Swoner.
Boner Swoner.
Slouder.
Waiting for the Sky to Fall,
Nice.
which is the title of one of his songs.
Whoa.
Of his most listened to songs.
There you go.
Whoa.
It has 8,000 listens on Spotify.
I feel like Greico would not be that hard to get to like star in something that like we make here.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
The Scorpion Queen.
Nice.
Too Young to Try.
Mm,
And If French Students Could Kill.
that's
Nice.
great.
You got something, Troy? I just saw you moving around.
Oh, no,
You had the body language of someone about to talk. Wild Hearts, Loud Guitars. That should be what it's called. What's it called? Big Hair, Loud
right.
Guitars. Fast Cars, Loud Guitars.
Fast Cars.
All right, so
Matt
double
talking.
feature. That's the one. That's all we got left is double feature.
I've got one.
What is it?
It is an episode of It's Always Sunny called Sweet D Makes a Porno, where Richard Greico is the star and he plays a porn star as himself.
All right.
I just remembered I had a sequel idea. I think the sequel of this movie is Burn Notice.
All right.
Because she's a special agent that helps a guy named Michael. It's just them later. They just changed the last name slightly. It could work. Like there's a couple of tweaks you could make it. Because he's been a spy and he's like retiring. I don't know. I was thinking about it a lot. I was like, oh, and it's the same. Yeah. Anyway,
I dig it. You got something? Double feature?
double feature.
Yeah, my double feature, actually, it's funny because it came up earlier. I have a couple, but yeah, I think King Ralph would follow it up nicely.
Yeah.
It's another fish out of water on a very continental.
Yeah, purely American character thrust into
Yeah.
European politics somehow.
Yeah. It's interesting that they were in theaters at the same time. You could have pulled that off in real life at the
Yeah.
theater.
That's wild.
That is cool. Like they connect in my head from just the time period. Like these were kind of around. We were watching them at the same time. Obviously, they were out in the same week.
Do you have a double feature?
Yeah, my double feature is The Man Who Knew Too Little.
Oh, that's a
Okay.
good one.
Another Bill Murray guy answers a phone call that's not intended for him. 2 phone calls get swapped, and then he gets caught up in some espionage, mayhem, whatever, but he never really knows what's going on. Greico figures it out at some point.
He thinks it's a game the whole time.
Yeah, he thinks he's doing like the Bill Murray. It's a Bill Murray movie that's really great.
I've seen it. It's just not recent.
That's my double
movie is
feature.
incredible. That's a good double feature.
Yeah, Mistaken Identity. Fun. Alfred Molina's in it.
Oh, I fucking love him.
Always good. So that's our questions. We did it. We did the If Looks Could Kill, man. Do you like this movie more now? I guess I don't even know how to say this. What do you think of it now, Troy, versus when we were kids? Like our kid memory is just we liked it when we were kids.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I remember loving it when I was a kid, and I love it just as much now. Like it didn't lose any of the shine. It is still a fantastic movie.
Right. I mean, I think I appreciate it differently. I like it just as much. I appreciate it differently. Like I actually have appreciation for it now instead of just liking it. Like I get what they were doing.
Yeah.
I don't even think we knew at the time we were watching this. I don't think we knew the movies even were trying to do anything ever. They were just movies.
Yeah.
And I will say that watching it now recently this week, I was pretty impressed at how much of it still held up.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to get a teen comedy from 1991 where there's not at least like 5 things where you're just like, what? That wasn't even cool then.
Right.
What the, like Revenge of the Nerds, that's earlier than that and supposed to be more, raunchy or whatever, but what the fuck? That was just 6 years before this or whatever. Like the fact that there's the guy almost bites that girl ear.
Yeah. But they still handle it well.
And then the thing with the trans lady isn't played for, like, I don't know what they were going for, but watching it now, it didn't seem like they were making fun of her.
Right.
He was just like surprised.
No, it was just a surprise reaction.
Yeah. And if, I also don't speak for, the trans community. So if somebody is offended by it, I'm not going to argue against it. I believe you.
There's kind of no fat on this movie. That's
yeah.
something I was noticing. It's like an hour and a half or whatever.
You can't lose a single scene of it.
No, it doesn't have like some pointless scene that goes on too long or whatever. I mean, we all want to see more of that lady dancing around.
Right? I mean,
maybe a little extended cut
even
there.
say that. We can't even say that for sure about the podcast we made about the movie. But the movie itself, no fat.
I know we did a longer podcast of the movie. Once again, I like it.
We are almost 1.5 times the length of the movie right now.
Well, this is what happens. I don't get to see Troy that often.
Yeah.
So, all right. So next week we're doing Disorderlies. It's on Amazon Prime. That'll be next week's episode. A movie that stars the Fat Boys. It's an early hip hop starring vehicle. Like when the movies finally decided to, like when Hollywood was finally like, this seems popular.
Right.
So that's what we're doing next. Disorderlies. Have you ever seen Disorderlies, Troy?
I don't think I have.
I saw it.
I've never seen it.
I saw it at Aunt Sue's house. I just somehow remember like that's the room I remember sitting in. But whatever.
I'll watch it and let you know.
I haven't seen it in. I mean, that was probably when we visited too. So 89. Like, so I haven't seen this movie since 1989.
Wow.
But
Hell
it's
yeah.
on Amazon Prime, so everybody check it out. You got anything to plug, Troy?
Yep.
All right. We got the Raz's plugs already. You guys got plugs?
Just my Instagram, Bjorn RG Comedy.
Yeah. The email address?
saturdayafternoonmovieclub@gmail.com. I don't know. I'm just going to say it again in case I didn't on the last one. We are getting your emails. A couple people have written in. We are getting them. As we may have hinted, we are recording these in advance.
Yeah, so we'll do...
It'll be a minute before we address them.
Honestly, let's read. We'll read some soon. All right.
Yeah.
That's the level of commitment I can give to you. Within the next few episodes, we'll start reading them. And we got more things coming. Stay tuned to the Saturday Afternoon Movie Club. Later.